Welcome to the July 13th, 2026 Select Board meeting. All members are present with the exception of Selectman Gerwa, who had a business issue that he couldn't attend tonight's meeting. And if you would all join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I'll take a motion for the review and the sign of payroll and bills payable warrants outside of session.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. De Palma, seconded by Mr. West. Any discussion? All in favor? And it's unanimous. And we have one set of minutes, the April 13th, 2026 minutes for approval. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. De Palma. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Maselli. Any discussion? All in favor? And it's unanimous. Okay, at this time, I'll take a motion to open up a public hearing for the purposes of a permit for removal of earth at the property located at 320 Salem Street.
So moved.
A motion by Mr. West, seconded by Mr. De Palma. Any discussion? All in favor? And it's unanimous. And Ronnie Phillip from Door Whittier.
It's Lee and David will be here.
Okay. You can come up too. If you would just introduce yourself for me, I know you're not Ronnie. Go ahead.
Great. Good evening, Chairman Kyra and members of the Select Board. For the record, my name is David Sandin with Left Field, serving as the owner's project manager for the town of Wilmington on the Wilmington Elementary School project. Tonight we have various members of the project team here. Craig DiCarlo, my colleague from Left Field, Lee Dorr, doing right here, project designer, Petra Sousa from CDW, the project's civil engineer, Andrea Stillman from ADS, the project's LSP, who is remote, and then John Vukic from Fontaine Brothers, the project's construction manager. Thank you for the hearing. Thank you for hearing the project this evening. We are before the Select Board in connection with the earth removal permit application for the proposed elementary school at 320 Salem Street. The requested permit relates to the removal and export of surplus soil generated by construction activities for the new elementary school, as well as associated site improvements. With that, we're happy to receive the board's comments, answer any questions if we have the appropriate members from the project team to hear this evening. And if we're unable to fully answer or address a question, we'll be happy to follow up promptly.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, to my fellow board members, but before we do that, you want to read some of the
Yes, I just wanted
correspondence we got from department heads?
Yes, there was a request for, that was sent out by town manager's office for a recommendation regarding this earth removal permit. We have a recommendation from Shelley Newhouse, Director of Public Health. I recommend approval of the earth removal permit for 320 Salem Street. We have a recommendation from Al Spalding, Inspector of Buildings. The building department has no issue with the earth removal permit at 320 Salem Street, Wilmington, Mass. We have the memo from Valerie Gingrich, Director of Planning and Conservation. This noted that the project 320 Salem Street has received Conservation Commission and Planning Board approval in June. And that the plans submitted for the earth removal permit are the same plans that were approved by the Conservation Commission and Planning Board. As such, granting the permit is recommended. In addition, there is a memorandum submitted to the board by Paul Looney, the town engineer, regarding the 320 Salem Street earth removal permit. That memorandum does recommend granting the earth removal permit subject to 15 conditions that are listed in that which I can read, Mr. Chair, or we can read it at a later time. It's up to you.
You might as well read it.
Okay. So the 15 conditions that the town engineer recommended are, number one, this permit is not assignable. Number two, at the expiration of the permit, the grade shall substantially conform to the proposed grades as shown in the plan set approved by the Conservation Commission and the Planning Board. Number three, at the expiration of the permit, the entire area shall be covered with loam and seed with a recognized grass seed of good quality, except where the area consists of proposed hardscape, pavement, or other specific surface treatments. Number four, the applicant, its agents, employees shall use due caution when entering and leaving the site, and shall use extreme caution when passing school buses at the time when the existing tool is active. Number five, the hauling routes for construction vehicles and equipment is anticipated to be Ballardvale Street north to Route 93, and Salem Street south to Middlesex Ave, Route 62. Number six, the hours of hauling on ways used by the public shall be limited to Monday through Friday, inclusive between 7 a.m. and 4:30 p.m., and shall occur outside normal school drop-off and pickup times. Number seven, the applicant shall agree to keep loam within the town of Wilmington wherever possible. Number eight, if rock crushing operations are to be used on site, they will be limited to the hours of operation between 9 and 3 on normal weekdays only. Rock crushing operations are not allowed on weekends or holidays. Number nine, blasting operations shall be in accordance with all town, state, and federal laws, regulations, and policies as may be applicable. Number 10, disposal of any unsuitable material shall be in accordance with all town, state, and federal laws, regulations, and policies that may be applicable. Number 11, the applicant or their designated contractor shall follow the construction period pollution plan, stormwater pollution prevention plan, and sediment and erosion control plan as approved by the Conservation Commission. Number 12, the applicant and or their designated contractor is responsible for daily cleanup of all soil material, stones, etc., tracked along the hauling route. Number 13, the applicant or their designated contractor shall limit excessive dust and noise associated with the earth removal process to the extent practicable. Number 14, the applicant shall notify the town of their intentions to obtain a renewal of this permit at least 30 days before the expiration date of the permit. Number 15, the performance bond requirement for the earth removal permit is waived for this project. This bond requirement is for private development projects only. For municipal projects, the town requires a performance bond in place for the entire project, inclusive of earth removal. And those are the 15 proposed conditions as laid out by Town Engineer Paul Looney. Thank you,
Thank you,
Mr. Chair.
Mr. Slagle. Board members, any questions regarding this request for permit?
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
a couple of quick questions. How much earth are we looking to actually physically move? I mean, is it by tonnage, by trucks? I'm just trying to get an idea of traffic.
Within the application, which I don't have in front of me, but I believe it was calculated at 4,000 cubic yards. During phase one, we're estimating anywhere from 8 to 10 trucks per day over a period of several months. And then for phase two, 8 to 12 trucks over a period of 1 month. But as the project unfolds, that analysis will be further refined.
And the other question is that I'm assuming that a lot of this is good dirt, good loam, that should be kept in Wilmington for town purposes. I mean, I guess the two questions is, will it stay in Wilmington, and do we have a purpose that we, the town, could be using this for? Cemetery, other projects, whatever, just to have it on site. It's a little expensive.
I'm going to defer to the LSP to respond to that. If Andrea, you could address that question, please.
Sure. I feel comfortable with the loam. It's been characterized through series of analytical testing, and it's suitable for reuse in town if that's what you would like to do.
Could you speak up a little bit?
Yeah, sorry, my microphone is not great. The loam is fine to be reused in town if that's what you'd like to do.
Sorry.
So I heard she said the loam would be fine to be used in town. I believe that's what you said, Andrea?
Yes, that's correct. We've tested it, and all the concentrations of the contaminants, they're all below the residential standards, reporting standards, and risk-based standards. So yes, you can reuse it in town if you have projects in town.
And probably to you, Mr. Chair, through you, Mr. Chair, to the town
Yes.
manager. Do we have a spot to store this loom if we're gonna keep it in town? You're looking at, was it 4,000?
First, let me say that was a good guess on your part, because it's in the memo that it's 4,000 cubic yards. And number 7, Mr. West, indicates that the loom would stay within the town of Wilmington that Mr. Slagle just read.
Right, well, it says whenever possible. So if it sounds like we can keep the loom, it's just where would we store 4,000 tons of loom or whatever the.
Yeah, 4,000 cubic yards. I can certainly speak, I mean, we're obviously at the early stages right now. I certainly will speak to the project team and to Jamie McGauley over at DPW and see if there's loam that there's not on-site storage or there's need to truck it out off-site, if there's a location that we could have it where we could use it. We do own Sharapa Farms.
We got a big hole.
Big hole there. So that you know, I certainly can't promise anything of that right now, but we'll certainly investigate that.
Yeah, because I'm just thinking that, especially where if plans go forward to demo the Wildwood and turn that into cemetery, we'll be digging that and, that'll be all reconfigured. And there might be other projects that we could reconfigure some of that. And again, dirt's expensive. So, I mean, I'd rather keep it in here, or if it's gonna be brought off-site and somebody's gonna take it, I'd want to sell it, if it can be, quote, sold.
Chairman Carr, may I
Yes.
make an additional comment? I just want to manage expectations that we do have a current contract with Fontaine, and Fontaine has a contract with Quigley, the site work contractor. So if the intent is to keep soil or topsoil in Wilmington, that has to be coordinated with Quigley. We'll say the purchase of the site work has already been purchased with Quigley. So we'd have to have that discussion.
Okay. Thank you for now.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
I noticed here there's a call for some blasting. I know once you get into it, you'll find that you're probably going to have to do, but do you have any idea of any blasting that you're going to need?
Currently, based on our investigations on the site, we don't have any reason to believe that we'd be doing blasting or rock crushing. But as we open the site up and expose, we may come into something, and in which case we'd be following all the town ordinances.
Okay, now, I also thank you for saying that you'll keep attempt to keep the loom in town. If there is blasting, that's going to be a lot of stone, small stone, large stone, whatever the case may be. Would that would be hauled off-site into an area that you've already agreed to have materials dumped at, correct?
It would be part of the export, and so if we had no need within the community to be able to use that fill, then we would be hauling it off to a disposal site.
Thank you.
He stole my questions.
So just to follow up on the loom, where it says whenever possible, but you mentioned what, Quigley or something? There's an agreement with them? What's that agreement? Are they taking loom?
Well, there is an award that has already been granted to Quigley through Fontaine. So the site work contractor has already purchased the scope. I can't speak for Quigley if they already have a predetermined plan on where they could bring topsoil, but we're happy to have the conversation with Quigley that the town would like to possibly retain it somewhere. I don't want to make promises here without having the opportunity for Fontaine to speak to Quigley.
So what's the agreement? Are they taking the topsoil or they're not?
They are taking the topsoil, but they may already have an agreement with bringing it to a certain facility. And if it's the town's intent to have all that topsoil, I would just like Fontaine to have that opportunity to speak to Quigley to manage that process.
Then what's the purpose of this number 7, if you've already given away the soil?
The scope of the work has been purchased, and so Quigley owns getting rid of the topsoil. So they may already have plans in place or starting to.
So they're gonna take our soil and use it for themselves to make a profit on it? Just like what happened at the Entile farm, yeah.
That's where I'm going.
Yeah, I mean, I can't,
I know that.
I can't speak to that project, but, you know, they have made certain assumptions, and if, you know, again, the intent is for the town to retain some of it, or all of it, or whatever they'd like, we'd have to just have that discussion with Quigley.
Have you already signed the contract with them?
I believe Fontaine has issued a notice to proceed forward with Quigley. As far as the actual contract with Quigley, I can't comment.
Why can't you comment?
I'd have to refer to,
Yes, contract was sent to Quigley. They signed it, sent it back.
So they've already signed it and sent it
I
back?
believe so, yeah.
And what was the agreement in the contract for that? How much are they getting on that soil?
The contract is a lump sum contract based on the scope of work. So that particular thing, we, like David said, we would need to just talk to them about what the offer is, where it's going to go, and Wilmington, and find out.
So was it just assumed when you did the contract that the town didn't need the land, didn't need the soil or want it?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
Did you, when you did the contract, did you just assume that the town didn't need the loom or want the loom? That's why you've given it away to a contractor?
And so the soil, the existing soil is part of the entire scope of work. And so when there's scope, whether it's labor, materials, stuff leaving, stuff coming in, it's all part of the scope of work that the subcontractor bids on, and they are awarded that based on their bid, along with the other bidders.
The other thing I'm not a big fan of is number 5. Why can't the trucks just go out Ballardville Street to 93? Why do they have to go down Salem Street to Middlesex Ave on 62? It would make more sense if they take the highway rather than coming through the neighborhood.
I have to say I agree. I can't speak for Paul Aluni if that's, or where he got that, you know, where he, the origin of that condition, so.
yeah, so I think that the condition was put in by Paul as a kind of general condition for this project. I'm not sure that Paul was aware that we'd already made commitments that construction vehicles were going to be going up Ballardvale in all of our meetings. So I think notwithstanding that allowance in the permit, the project has already made commitments to the neighbors that all the construction traffic will be going the way you suggested.
Okay, so that's going to be eliminated. Okay. Any other questions from the board?
No, Mr. Chair,
Yes.
the only comment is that, like I said, I might have been a little facetious when we were talking about there's a big hole at Sharapa Farm, but that was a major fire at one point, and I don't know if that would be an area that dirt could be placed and leveled off or leveled better, so that we don't have a dangerous condition anymore. So, just my thought. And it's right down the street, so I mean, it's kind of sort of down the street on Ballardvale, you know, you go down Ballardvale over to the farm.
Right.
So, just my thought.
It's a good thought. Okay, no more questions, so we'll hold off in case you have some after the residents may have some questions for you. So I think that may be why you're here tonight. So if you would come up to the microphone and state your name and address for the record.
Oh, we stay, okay.
Yeah, there's a microphone right in the center there. Does anybody wish to make a comment, ask a question? Okay, seeing none. Oh, I'm sorry. Yep.
You need somebody to break the ice, I'll do it. Good evening, everyone. Suzanne Sullivan, 60 Lawrence Street. I honestly sometimes don't know what to say when I come to these things, but honestly, to your point, Selectman West, the soil here is likely contaminated, okay? It's really upsetting to hear, just like these things being said by LSP, that everything's been tested. There was preliminary testing done in 2025. It was a half-baked procedure. It was only to find out where they could put the foundation. They did some preliminary testing on contaminants. They did end up finding some arsenic in the soil, okay? They claim, this is when I say they, I'm talking about the town, because our taxpayers are funding this. They claim that that arsenic came from groundwater wells because it's naturally occurring, and it contaminated the surface soil. Okay? Just to start with that. We all know that there's been a history of that this site or the area took contaminated soils or contaminated dredgings from Harriman's Tannery. That's what the history says, okay? So now we're in the position where, well, let's just build. DEP said, I'll give you the okay to go out and remove soils and do whatever you have to do. And if the LSP, who's saying everything's fine, nothing to worry about, finds something to worry about, then the process will start somehow to get the town to address the contaminated soils that they could or could, have to remove. Where they would go, whatever the case may be, who knows? It could just be a nightmare. There's a lot of motivation not to identify any contaminated soils here, because think about it. If you did find contaminated soils, this project's going to shut down. It gets really, really expensive. So the people that you're putting in charge of watching out for the town have a good motivation, if they do find something, not to report it. So, do we really want that in the town? Do you trust that? Somebody who's been involved in contamination issues in this town for as long as I have, I don't trust them. And no offense to an LSP, but I've seen a lot of reports that come out and we haven't trusted those. We've been told that testing's been done, testing wasn't done. It's all about what you actually test for and what you don't test for. It's all about how you actually want to find something or you don't want to find something. If you don't want to find something, then that's the objective. And I feel is that that's the objective here. And I'm just going to read to you something. This is from the town's, a report that the taxpayers paid for, from the peer consultants, about some of the removal of the contaminants or the removal of soils at this site. It goes on and it talks about the additional information pertaining to potential impacted soils at the groundwater level. Impacted soils are soils that could be impacted by contamination. So this report talks about the arsenic levels, and it talks about where they think the arsenic is and how much soil would have to be removed from each area. It's right there on the town's website. It's the peer, I believe it was February 2025, if anybody wants to look it up. And I think I'm on page 6. Total volume of soil at and below the encountered groundwater table for potentially being designated for disposal at a natural arsenic landfill is approximately 23,850 cubic yards. We're here tonight to talk about under 4,000 cubic yards. This is from the town's report. I'm not making it up. Is that true? 23,850 cubic yards of potentially impacted soils from arsenic at the groundwater level. Oh, and oh, by the way, this is the zone 2 of our public water supply. It's a zone 2. So, am I happy about this? No. Why am I not happy? Because I see a potential for disaster. And to hear, you know, an LSP sit here and tell the town that we're paying or that's getting paid and say that everything's been tested for, everything's fine, don't worry about it, pat, pat, pat on the head, placate, placate. But when people actually do their homework and they actually look at reports and they actually read things, it's amazing what you find. So I ask this board or the town, I mean, I know this is going to get probably just a rubber stamp because so far that's what's happened with things. But you can understand why people would be concerned about this. It's around a school, it's around a neighborhood. What if that soil is impacted with arsenic? Are we trusting the right people to tell the town the truth? And then what happens if you find it? Are those trucks going to drive around all the neighborhood and you know, distribute arsenic around? Is it going to go to Beneventos's? I heard that too, that it had potential to go to Beneventos's, which is even closer to our water supply. And if it's in the groundwater, are you going to de-water? Are you going to have wash the truck's wheels? Are the trucks going to drive down the street with water pouring out of the back of the dump truck and contaminating arsenic all over the place? That's just arsenic. And now we have to depend on an LSP, that person, to be in the field and do the right thing if there's contamination that's found. One person. Then who's paying that person? Is Fontaine paying that person? Is Quigley paying that person? Who's paying that person? Is the town paying that person? Is the town motivated to make sure that the town does the right thing and that that person does the right thing? Or is that town going to actually tell that person, yeah, let's just take care of it and not tell anybody. Don't, let's look the other way. These contracts are specifically made for the person that's doing the work to make money. They don't want problems. So I'm going to ask this board to make sure that you do everything that you can to make sure that the right thing is done in that field. Because right now, I haven't seen it. This is real. I'm not making it up. I've been here many times before and told everything's okay. Is everything okay when you have a report that says there's 223,000 cubic yards of potentially impacted soils that will go to a so-called arsenic-friendly landfill? I don't know, you tell me, because you know what? That snowball's rolling down the hill and it's getting bigger and bigger, and when are you going to stop it? And take a step back and say, wait a second, we need to evaluate this. This is a school that children are going to be going to. And there's school that's going to be in business when this is going on. Are you protecting those children and the people that work there from dust that could have arsenic in it? Those are the things that should be in the permit. Not about reusing the soil. I understand why you might want to reuse it, but is that what you want? The town said that the reason why the soil had arsenic in it is from the sprinkler system. That's what they said. And so the soil's contaminated from the sprinkler system. Yeah. You believe that? That's what the town said. 23,600 cubic yards was contaminated, potentially contaminated from the town's sprinkler system. Think about that. This is the town's report. These are the people that made the report. Peer review, page 6.
Thank you. Yes.
No, I just wanted to, if I could just respond real quick, because there's some misinformation. I didn't want that to be left unchallenged. So first, to be very clear, there was preliminary testing done at the site. When the neighbors got a copy of the preliminary report, they sent a challenge to Mass DEP claiming that there was contamination that should have been reported. They were not operating off of the full report, which was done afterwards. When that full report, along with an explanation, went to Mass DEP with the concerns about arsenic, Mass DEP agreed with the town that arsenic was naturally occurring. And they permitted the project to go forward. So
Hold on, please.
It was made very clear to everyone who has asked that this project intends to be very cautious about contamination. We're going to respond appropriately. We have no reason to not respond appropriately. There is funding to deal with contamination in the budget. And if we have to clean it up, we will clean it up. That's the easiest way to do. There are multiple people whose licenses are on the line about whether or not contamination is on the site. And they're contrary to the statements from the member of the public, they have no, financial or other interest in lying and losing their license, potentially losing their license, rather than just telling the town, hey, it's dirty, you got to clean it up. So there's no, the kind of the concern about contamination is perfectly valid, and that if there's contamination found, the project team is fully committed to appropriately responding and cleaning it up. And by the way, that's a requirement in this permit, that if there's contamination, that we respond appropriately and clean it up. And there's never been any indication or any plans, anything in any other way other than, yes, we plan to, if there's contamination, we'll clean it up. And so far, there has not been any indication of that contamination. So I just wanted to clarify that before the rest of the public had a chance to speak.
I would like to hear other people, but go ahead, you can respond.
I'll be
Related
brief,
to this.
Mr. Chairman, thank you. The key there is the preliminary report. I just heard that there was another report or testing that was done beyond the preliminary, and that's a key preliminary. It wasn't a comprehensive report. There was supposed to be a comprehensive investigation after the preliminary, and it never happened. It never happened. It was only the preliminary investigation. And the way that I see things is trust has to be earned. Trust but verify. And so far in this process, in trying to get people to listen to the concerns of the public in this case, and I have been working in this town for over 30 years trying to protect the water supply. Over 30 years. I'm not here tonight for any other reason than that, because that's who I am. And I have concerns. And I have concerns about the people that live in the area, especially the children that go to that school. Every single precaution that could be taken should be taken. And so, yeah, I don't know the LSP from anywhere. Why should I trust somebody like that? I have seen a lot. There was a time where I reviewed every single 21E site in this town. I saw good reports, I saw bad reports. I saw good consultants, I saw bad consultants. The Olin site, we saw good ones and we saw a lot of bad ones. So I have a reason to not trust. So it's called trust but verify. I would like to see maybe the town have reports done, like legitimate reports and updates to the people that live in that area and the neighbors. That's what I would like to see done. A communication between the town and the neighbors instead of everybody acting like everybody's the enemy. We're not the enemy. We live here. We care. Can we communicate with each other? That's all people want. They want to be able to trust the government. They want to be able to trust people. Do it. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate the extra time.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to speak?
I have a question. Hi, Michelle Feeney, 5 Arlene Ave. I have 3 concerns, but my first question is, you mentioned that there would be 8 to 10 trucks a day of soil. Will there be routine testing on that? Because you talked about, Mr. Slagle, that they'll be checking it and making sure that it's not contaminated, but what is the actual process for doing that?
Go ahead.
If I may, I'm going to tee this up for Andrea, but the process of removing soil on any construction site and having it be transferred to a receiving facility is extremely highly regulated, and I will not give it justice. That's why I'm going to punt this response to Andrea.
Yes, this soil would be brought to a facility that is permitted by DEP. They scrutinize the data. They and this, what we're still undetermined on exactly what facility, but they have specific detailed testing requirements. We've done the testing. They may ask for more, in which case, we'll develop more. But it's a very controlled, laborious, to be quite honest, process to get this soil approved into a facility. And it will be tracked, each truckload of the soil that contains naturally occurring arsenic. Although it's not an MCP problem, it's not a release site, every truckload will have a manifest or a material shipping record, we would call it. And the trucks are weighed and they're delivered, they're tracked from when they leave the site to when they dump their load. And they are weighed, and it is a really controlled process.
Okay, thank you. And
Yeah, if I could just, if I could just say one thing, because I think this is really crucial for not just the immediate neighbors, for everybody in the town to know. So what happens, and just from a layperson's term, is the soil management process includes testing and characterization of the material before it leaves the property. That it needs to be evaluated so it can go to the appropriate facility. If the soil conditions in the field are different than what they expect, if they find something different, then it's going to have to be evaluated separately, segregated, and managed through the LSP's process under 21E if necessary, if there's reportable conditions.
and all of these people are in contracts with other people, correct? So just to expand upon my predecessor's comments, everyone here stands to lose if there's something in that, correct? So I guess there's really no checks and balances, like a third party making sure that if there is something, that it gets remedied.
That's absolutely incorrect, because an LSP is what's called a licensed site professional.
Mm-hmm.
They're licensed not by us, but by DEP.
Okay.
We're required to hire them, but their responsibility runs with their license to DEP to report any incidents to DEP. That's why they have their license. That's how they maintain their license. And if there's an issue that comes up, they're mandated by law to report that.
Yeah.
And that they are the third party that's checking things that we're required to hire.
Okay. The second thing is, I'm very concerned that I noticed that Shelley Newhouse, the Board of Health, that she wrote a recommendation already without knowing what's on there. I think that's a little concerning. And I also want to mention that I still think, based on everything that we've heard, I just am shocked. Like, no one on this board is in that neighborhood or lives in that area. This is a problem. I have mentioned before that I have tested extremely high for arsenic. They never determined where it was from. I'm still getting tested. So it can't be a coincidence that I happen to live right there. I'm extremely concerned that you're opening Pandora's box. No one tested. Again, we hear things like half-baked. There's hundreds of residents in that neighborhood. I mean, the town manager lives in Melrose. He doesn't have to worry about that exposure. Everyone on the board, nobody lives in that neighborhood. It will be going into the drinking supply. And the fact that there are going to be students at that school for 7 years, I am just amazed still. I was never for the school, that's not a secret, but to find out that nobody vetted this site to know that there was a tannery, I mean, that's a whole other level. We had 2 other appropriate sites that they could have checked. I mean, we heard ad nauseum about the Woburn Street and how expensive it was to remove the ledge, but not one person on this committee or in town knew that there was a tannery there. I mean, that's egregious in my
I
book.
think it was a little bit of a cheap shot, Mr. Slagle.
What's the cheap shot?
And I object to that. Just because he does not live in Wilmington doesn't mean that he does not care for our residents.
I didn't
and for
say
the
he didn't
town.
care. I just stated a fact.
What you implied was that, Ms. Feeney. and-
I
and
implied that it
resent
affects
that,
us residents and
I resent
abutters
that
much
comment,
more.
You implied none of us
so
cared.
you should
I
be
should what?
careful with your comments. Yes, sir.
Yeah, if I could just, and real quick, there was an extensive background done by Paula Looney, who's the town engineer, on the history of this site, going back hundreds of years. And notwithstanding the urban legend about a tannery, in the records.
I'm sorry, are you familiar with
Okay.
Lars Nielsen? I grew up in this town also. I remember the swamps back there.
Could you let him finish, please? And then you can
With all due
respond.
respect, there's no, I object to that.
No, with all due respect, let him finish his comments before you respond.
So as part of the requirement for us, under MSBA, for our ownership of the property, Mr. Looney had to do an extensive record search going back hundreds and hundreds of years to determine the ownership of the entire site. In his evaluation and in his research, there was no credible evidence that there was a tannery dumping on this site. There is evidence of potential disposal in the neighborhood, but not on the north site. And that's based on the expertise of an engineer who was having to do this to verify that the town had full ownership of the site. And I haven't seen any documentation that contradicts what Mr. Looney came up with, which is that there's no credible evidence that there was a tannery on the site. And to continue to suggest that there is without showing documentary evidence, I think is a little reckless.
I'm sorry, I think it's a what? I didn't hear
A little
this.
reckless.
A little reckless.
To
Okay.
suggest that there's something on site when the testing has not shown it, and there's no documentary evidence.
Well,
of
the
it.
town, with all due respect, the town does not keep good records going way back because I went through and looked for the town records. So if you choose not to record something, it won't be there in the historical. So I'll leave it with there. We do have a lot of town historians. I'm sure you're familiar with some of the names in this town that have been here for a very long time, who have signed affidavits, who know what's back there. And all I can say is let's see. I just don't know how anyone could sleep at night knowing that there is going to be students at that school for 7 years. And
Again,
honestly,
accusing us of not caring.
wait.
That's
I'm
great.
sorry, I'm accusing you? I'm saying,
You're
I don't know how anyone can sleep.
insinuating that we don't care.
No,
As a mother of a cancer survivor, I care about what goes into everything for every child, okay?
Then-
I
then
wouldn't wish that
please
on
pay-
any
then I'm-
child. So
then I'm
do not
begging you,
stand
pay
there and
attention.
accuse me or anybody on this board that we do not care about what goes there, okay? It's
Okay, yeah.
insulting.
It's insulting that all of this is happening and you just refuse. I'm sorry, does anyone care that I have tested high for arsenic? I'm just curious. She's tested high. Does anyone care about that? Do we?
I
know-
care. I
Are
think
you
it's
aware
terrible,
of what
but you
happened
shouldn't-
at
you
Owen?
shouldn't accuse
Are you aware
us
of what
for not
happened?
caring.
Wait,
That's all
I'm saying I don't understand consciously how people can sleep at night knowing that that will be
Again.
a school. I'm entitled to my opinion.
You sure are, and I'm
Okay.
entitled to mine. And I'm
And-
just saying, for you to say that we don't care and have no conscience is upsetting.
You can
it's
infer,
upsetting me.
you know what? You can infer what you want, and as time goes on,
All right, forget
and
it.
kids go to that school,
Okay.
I pray that that's not the case. But from so far, everything I've seen, I don't believe that's the case. Thank you.
Yes.
I
Mr.
just want to
Lawrenson.
respond. I actually assisted Paul.
Could you please state your name?
Sorry, Beth Lawrenson, Town Clerk, keeper of the records for the town of Wilmington. I actually assisted Paul.
I think they want you to use the microphone, Beth. So- Yeah, please.
Oh, okay, sorry. I am the keeper of the records for the town of Wilmington. I assisted Paul in his research. Some of the deeds are recorded in some books that we have in the vault that are from the 1700s. So he traced it back quite a bit, and it's written in cursive. So it's like land transactions. So we do keep really old records, and it's almost like indexed in these books. How many cattle were on each farm, where the farms were, who owned the land, how those deeds were passed from one owner to the other. So he did in fact find the deed, and it was accepted by, he was working with a company, I believe it was a surveyor. You would know more than I would on that. But he did find the deed and recorded it, and I true attested it and sent it off to the person. So he did in fact find documents that stated this.
Thank you. Thank you. Anyone else wish to speak?
Paul Shalafort, 48 Hopkins Street. Going back to earlier in the hearing, could I get a little bit of a summary on the deal that was made with the topsoil being removed and sold or promised to some entity?
Well, it's a contract that, go ahead.
If I may, I mean, at the end of the day, if the town wants some of the topsoil, again, that would have to go through a regulatory process that Andrea would be involved in. And it may end up being, a credit because it's staying in town. The site work contractor does not have to truck it further away, or whatever the site work contractor calculated or assumed in their lump sum cost that they provided to Fontaine that was competitively bid with multiple site work contractors. And I don't know, John, you want to add any color? Or?
As I explained earlier, the scope of work is more than just the soil, so it's a series of work scope items that the subcontractors do their own internal estimate, cost, plus or minus, whatever it may be, to come up with a total, and they submit that against the other bidders. It's not a detailed cost report that we're looking at to determine what each particular item is, how much the loam is, how much the mulch is, how much it's not done that way. It's a competitive bid. And as such, they have the opportunity to, if they can salvage something, much like when the demolition subcontractor demolish the building, they can take the metals, whether it's copper or steel or whatever, and they can deliver that to a recycling center, and then they get paid on what tonnage, and that's part of their bid. Give that back to whoever the owner was. What I mean? Like they factor that in.
Right.
That's the process of the bidding.
Okay, thank you.
I was just going to take a kind of a higher level approach, just for the folks who may not be aware of kind of how projects like this work, which is we have a construction manager at risk, which is Fontaine, which is equivalently to a GC. But what that construction manager at risk is doing now is putting together scopes of work for different pieces of the project that we already know and putting them out to bid. So that allows us to keep the project on time. So even though we're not at 100% design yet for the building, we've already put out the site work scope of work, and it's already been bid on, so that process is already in place and won't slow us down while we're working. The other things that might go out early are steel, as everybody knows, because steel can take a long time to get. So we might be putting out an early bid package for steel. We might be putting out an early bid package for IT equipment, because we know that sometimes the IT equipment takes longer to get there. We had to wait on the senior center opening because some of the IT equipment wasn't there until May. So that's where we are. That's why this particular sub has already been bid out, is because it was part of the work that we already had the scope of and could get that moving beforehand.
Okay, so getting back to this particular hearing about earth removal, it sounds like the cart has been put way before the horse, because it is up to the select board, this body itself, to give that permission for sale or gift or transfer outside the town limits of earth materials. So it sounds like it's already been worked out that some entity gets this material before they've even come before the board to get this permission to remove it.
Well, it says on number 5 that we have a right
I'm not talking about number
to
5,
have
I'm
it-
talking about.
the loom to stay in the town whenever possible.
Well, to your point, which you earlier brought up about it staying in the town, my point that I'm trying to make is the bylaw itself, the bylaw, not what's written, not those 15 points, but the actual bylaw, the actual section of the bylaw that says the select board must give permission for earth materials to be sold or gifted or transferred outside the town's corporate limits. It sounds like, from what I've heard from these gentlemen tonight, that that's already been done way before, not that the earth has been removed, but the plan to gift it or sell it or transfer it or a combination thereof outside the corporate limits of the town has already been finalized, albeit earth has not been taken. And I'm asking if that's true, number one. And number two, why is, no pun intended, why is the select board out in left field on this? They're the ones that are supposed to be giving permission to gift or sale or transfer this material outside the town's limits.
Yeah, I don't think the select board's out in left field.
I'm not saying you're
But
out in left field, I'm saying you're out in left field with
I think this
regard
is
to,
a pretty
because you
standard-
sounded surprised yourself about,
It's a pretty standard procedure. It was done, I think, with the end tile as well.
I understand what the procedure is. I'm saying what the bylaw says. The bylaw says X. Sounds like they've already done it before they've come before you to get permission to do X.
Okay. I mean, I don't see it that way, but,
I mean, I'll read it to you. I'll read what it says.
no, I don't think you need to.
Well, I'll read it anyway. The removal for sale, gift, or delivery beyond the town limits of earth shall be allowed only under special permission of the board and under such conditions as the board shall impose. Now, if they've already worked out the logistics of this and they haven't even come before you, they certainly haven't complied with this portion of the bylaw.
The sale's not final until such time as it's final, and I'm sure everything's
Well, it doesn't have to be a sale. It can be a gift, or it can be just transferred out of
But
town.
everything's subject to the permit anyway. Like, they couldn't, if this board says denied, then that subcontractor is not
But
gonna be able to take the.
this gentleman appeared to be arguing the fact that it's already promised to this Quigley or Fontaine through Quigley or whatever.
That doesn't mean it's not subject to the bylaw. I mean, I'm saying,
These gentlemen seem to indicate, and they can correct me if I'm wrong, that when Mr. Kyra earlier said something about the loam remaining in town, that they said through Fontaine to, is it Quigley? Quigley is the name? Quigley? That Quigley was going to be taking this, that there was already, I believe the word contract was used. If I'm not mistaken. I believe there is a contract to remove this. And this has been done before we arrived here tonight.
I would say
That's my point.
I would say in almost every development project, the contract for soil removal will be in existence before all the permitting is done. That doesn't mean that it's not subject to the permit.
Well, what limitations does the permit put on this contract that Quigley gets this material?
All the 15 limitations that I read out earlier.
Which one? Which one limits, it says if practical or if possible or something like that. It doesn't say they're limited, they're limited from taking it. It appears that's already been done. In any case, Mr. Kyra brought this point up earlier, and that's why I looked into it. And If I'm wrong, has somebody been promised this earth through contract before the board said, yes, it's okay to do that? Did that take place?
Not that I'm aware of.
And there's a contract with Quigley.
To do what?
But we can keep the
I think they agreed a contract with the Quigley
Correct.
company, right?
Yes.
For that earth.
Quigley owns, I'll say, the management of that earth to dispose of it within the regulations of any conditions that might be applied here, state, federal, local. I mean,
if it's contaminated earth, would the
I'm not-
town of
if
Wilmington
it's-
want it?
I'm just talking, I'm not talking about its earth, according to the bylaw, is a whole manner of different types of materials.
want it,
I'm not talking about contamination or not contamination. Just, was somebody promised this? Is there something that an entity is getting before they get permission to do it from the board? I think it's just a yes or no question.
Well, they'll be getting permission tonight or not tonight. And if we deny it, then they're not going to be getting that earth.
Okay, all right.
But if we approve it, then they would be. Yeah, you go ahead, Mr.
Just to see if I can clarify, there's been a scope of work developed for site work, not just earth removal, but the whole development of the site that has been publicly bid to multiple contractors. The low bidder in this case, Quigley, has been approved to purchase that site contract scope. Without the knowledge of the town may have conditions subject to this approval, their contract is subject to those conditions of Concom, conditions of the appeal with DEP. All of that is in play right now. If the town is interested in trying to keep, as those conditions outline, as much loam as possible within the community, we will go back and talk to that subcontractor and say part of the conditions that have been imposed as part of this permit is desired by the town to have as much of that loam kept in town as possible. We would report back to what that is. But in absence of that knowledge or where it's going to go or how it's going to be stored, right, the project keeps moving forward. We've bid that. There's a scope of work in place. Nothing has been done yet because everything is subject to permit approvals. And if these are conditions that are put on that permit, right, that's another step that's going to be in front of us before that work can be executed.
Okay, that kind of answers that particular question. As far as the history of the site goes, there was no tannery at the north site. There was no tannery there. The C.S. Harriman Tannery was located on Middlesex Ave, where the Planet Fitness and Registry of Motor Vehicles and WCTV is located. Mr. Harriman actually lived at 300 Salem Street. He owned a great deal of the field and land where Arlene Ave is and the North Intermediate School is, all the way back to where the Avalon Apartments are, give or take a few interspersed houses there. The conventional wisdom, based upon newspaper reports and court documents, is that when the tannery was being closed in the early 1950s, that material was taken out of the tannery site and dumped onto portions of that land. There were reports that when the DEP of the day, whatever the agency was called, was very surprised that the Harriman Tannery was one of all the tanneries in Massachusetts, the Harriman Tannery was only one of two that didn't actually dump their effluent into a sewer system or into a waterway. They didn't dump it into Lover's Brook, and we had no sewer. There's actually talk of the MDC putting sewer there specifically for the tannery, but the tannery ended up closing. In any case, the settling ponds evidence is that they did take that stuff and put it there. Is there any way, I don't know who to direct this to tell naturally occurring arsenic from arsenic that was used in say, pesticides or the tannery business or anything like that? I don't know who could answer that question, Mr. Chair.
Not I. I don't know if there's one of the professionals here that,
I think that would be a good question for Ms. Stiller,
Yes.
our LSP on the project.
Yeah.
Okay. So in determining whether or not the arsenic is naturally occurring, it's a whole series of lines of evidence. We do a phase one and research the history to look for any documents that historic topographic maps, historic aerial photos. We research, as many files as we can reasonably, find, and to determine the history. So that's a piece of it. And then we identify what might have occurred at a given property that could be a concern. We found nothing on this property that was a concern. The second layer of evaluation is to physically go out and do sampling, which was done. There were, for a parcel this size, there have been a lot of explorations, and there may be more coming, I don't know, but they're for engineering purposes. But for engineering purposes, there were, 34 test borings and 17 test pits. There's a lot of holes excavated on this site. And the soil from this site was sent to the laboratory. 8 samples were sent, and we tested it for PCBs, for 14 MCP metals, for volatile organic compounds, for petroleum, for pesticides, herbicides. A comprehensive testing was conducted on these samples. There was nothing to suggest a concern, except the arsenic. And also, we are, in the explorations, there are engineers that are observing and logging the holes. They are looking for, they're looking for geotechnical engineering purposes, but they're also looking in the fill layers for an indication that there might have been fill related to industry or contaminated fill. We found none of that. So all these lines of evidence, plus all there are numerous projects in your town and in this belt of arsenic that occurs naturally in the bedrock, which means that it ends up in the soil because your soils come from your bedrock. So that there are like 350 towns that are in Massachusetts. DEP has mapped these towns that are in what's called, the arsenic belt, where arsenic occurs naturally in the bedrock, and it occurs naturally in the soil, and as a result, it can occur naturally in the groundwater. And these are all concerns. And this is why we're paying attention. This is why, it's not going to be cheap to get rid of the soil from this site. But, and we assembled all this information and we sent it to DEP. They're well aware of this. There's a lot of documentation about how projects in the arsenic belt are being developed. Development doesn't stop. You just do it. You proceed with caution, especially because it's a school, and especially because there are residential abutters. So we need, there's going to be a soil management plan. There are going to be procedures that will need to be followed for dust control, for dust monitoring, to protect workers at the site and to protect the abutters and to protect the kids. So I think I lost track of what the question was,
Well,
but
the question was,
but it is that
thank you for that
I
information, but the
now recall.
question actually was-
The arsenic, we have no indication of environmental contamination other than the naturally occurring arsenic. If something is encountered, which can happen, you know, I don't think it's all that likely that we're going to find things related to tanneries and that sort of industrial waste at this point. But, you know, if there's a pocket of petroleum where an old tank was, or we will need to address that, you know, that the work stops and we have a plan for addressing that. And I get called in, or your LSP, whomever that is, gets called in, and you deal with it then. But, you know, a lot of background work has been done to evaluate this site, and we did not find information to suggest that the arsenic was anything other than naturally occurring.
Thank you, but my question was, I guess because it's a basic element, I guess there's no way of telling whether it's naturally occurring or not. I mean, I understand the arsenic belt. I've looked, I've researched that. I understand it to the extent that a layperson can understand it. But my question was, is there a way to differentiate between arsenic belt, naturally occurring arsenic in the soil and bedrock, and arsenic from other sources not naturally occurring, such as pesticides, rodenticides, what have you. So that was it.
Yes.
And I go ahead.
Sorry. So I've worked on projects that were orchards, and in conjunction with the arsenic, we would find high lead. So, you know, if they are both elevated above what is background, that might suggest that they've used lead arsenate as a pesticide. We did not see that in this case. So there are other indicators that come along with the arsenic. So there are ways to know, but in this case, we didn't find anything like that.
Okay, thank you.
Is there anyone else? Yes.
So, my name is Steve Barabee. I live at 300R Salem Street, and I am in a butter. I have something to say, but I'll ask a simple question following up. Is there a way to test the arsenic itself and determine by testing the arsenic itself whether or not it's man-made or naturally occurring? Is that a possibility? No indicators. Can you do a test to determine if it is man-made or not, or naturally occurring? Yes or no question?
Andrea, I thought you said yes, there is, but I may be mistaken.
Well, you know, it's sort of lines of evidence, but
Yes or no
I mean, the
question,
arsenic
please.
originally comes from, no matter what you use it for, you don't make it. It comes from
Andrea,
mining arsenic and then using it.
Andrea, can you start over again, because there was crosstalk, please?
You know, I guess there are a couple answers. To my knowledge, I don't know of a way. I mean, arsenic comes is a naturally occurring metal.
And man-made.
And, you know, you may mine it and you may use it for different purposes. You may process it. I don't know. I could inquire in our lab if they've ever needed to test, if there's any way to find out if this arsenic's been used for anything other than it just exists because it's naturally there. I don't know of a test.
Okay.
I don't know of a test.
I just did a Google.
I mean, it all comes from, you know, no matter where it comes from, no matter what it's used for, it comes from rock that has arsenic.
I'll agree with that. I'll also state that I Googled and said, yes, you can test it, test the arsenic to determine whether it's man-made or naturally occurring. There are tests you can do to the arsenic. Whether that's true or not, I don't know, but Google says you can. The question I'd ask, was that done for this arsenic? And I'm certain the answer there is no, so you don't have to answer that question. Few things coming back. The history of the site. The site was purchased in 1956, 57. It was in the town article, Article 26, where it's talking about purchasing about 12.2 acres of land. That would have been the Caleb's land that was purchased at the North School. So the town owned the corner before then, where the old school was, but all the land that was purchased in 1955. So all the site research was incorrect, didn't find it. It's in the book, 1956, 57, some point in time. That's when the land was purchased. From the tannery, technically it was purchased from somebody that, a developer who purchased all of the site. He went bankrupt. The town then bought the remaining part, which is at the North Intermediate School. That was the site that was done, 1955. So everything that in theory happened before then at 320 Salem Street was just tied to the little part of the school, which is probably part of the parking lot, and then the land right next to the bend of the street there of Salem Street and Ballardvale. So the site where the school is now and all the land where we're building came from Caleb Harriman, who owned the tannery. Found an article in 1978 discussing all the redding and what they did with it, how they got rid of it. They didn't dump it into the ground. Caleb built settling tanks, 7 of them, each about an acre in size. He would put the water in the ponds, let it settle out, and then take from the leather findings, whatever, the redding, and then he brought it up to his estate and put it in his fields. At the time, they thought those solids, the article talks, was really good fertilizer. So he put it everywhere. And he says he moved about every business day, at least an acre's worth of settling out of the tannery, drop it up in the field. Tannery waste is what was moved up there. It's distributed over 160 acres, they said in total. 40 years worth of doing this or so. Do the math. You talk about a lot of fill that needs to be gotten rid of. Most likely where it came from, Harriman. He brought it up. They said they did it all the time. And then the explicits, if I drop down, they talk about some potatoes. Caleb's farm on the potatoes. He had a potato farm. It also included the land on which the North Intermediate School now stands. This is from a town crier report in 1978. It was on this land that Caleb grew potatoes. And then later on it says, if I work my way down, generally speaking, the planting in the field where the North Intermediate School now stands. So they're explicitly saying that the North School, where it is, part of the tannery, all of that waste went up there. The developer came in and cleared everything out from Arlene Ave out to the railroad tracks and sold it because they, again, in the time, they thought it was great fertilizer. Didn't realize all the things that were bad about it, but the water they knew was bad. They thought the soil was good at that time. You read later articles after everyone realizes how bad all this tannery stuff was, and at that point in time, that's what you find out that they kind of dropped the part about how it was used as fertilizer. It wasn't left on later on because it was more, you know, problematic at that point in time. So you probably didn't want to let the town know that, hey, there's tannery waste there. Another thing I just Googled, should I be concerned about building a new school on a site that has tannery waste? Just Google. Going neutral, asking the question of the computer, not getting biases in play. It says, yes, you should absolutely be concerned and perform rigorous due diligence. They talk about doing phase 1 and phase 2 site assessments. We've already heard about the phase 1 site assessment was mentioned, was done when half-baked testing based on the Dorn Ware's own statements. I know part of that because I read the original one where they talked about the school being owned forever. And in it, they have, for the phase 1 site assessment, they ask yes or no questions about the history of it, which we now know is incorrect, where they said it was owned by the town since, I think it was 1868 or something like that. But we know documentation that's incorrect. They didn't purchase it till the late 50s. There are some questions they asked. Do you know of any soil being dumped into that field? The answer on that, typically you say yes or no. They left that blank and said, we don't have any documentation of anything being dumped on that site. They asked, what was the other one? Do you know of any emissions or issues coming on? We don't have any documentation of that happening. Though, we'll talk about a little bit later on, vapor intrusion, which just popped up. If you guys remember, early 2000, 2005, 2006, there was vapor intrusion going up into the existing school. Toxic waste. There was a Channel 7 story about it, how we ended up capping the vents so that so these theoretically could have been the vapors weren't coming up. Where would that have come from? Well, according to this, it would have been tannery waste, the Googling of it. So other things that have happened where they said if they find things, they'll take a look at it. One of the documents, and there's just so much stuff out there, it's hard to put it all together, but one of the documents, one of the people that did the digging, they came up and said, hey, we found something here that we weren't expecting, might be man-made, might not be. We'll keep it around for 90 days if you want us to test it. You think we would have tested it? Would we have? Should we have? My answer is yes, we should have. Did we? Nobody's talked about it. So what's going on there? Another thing, all this naturally occurring arsenic that happened, it was supposed to be reported to the Mass DEP because it's 5 times too high. Whether it's regularly, naturally or non-naturally, it's more than 5 times, it needs to be reported. Never got reported. Private citizens had to report it. Another thing that came up, heard from the Town Water Commission, is if we had a lot of smells, fumes coming up, vapors, that should be reported. Does arsenic create a lot of vapors in general when you dig it up?
No.
No, it does not. But everybody that was around Christmas Eve, they smelled the vapors. That's supposed to be, according to our town person, should have been reported to Mass DEP. I can assure you it was not. More of, okay, things are happening, we're not looking at it. We're not going to follow up on this because it's going to cost us money, slow things down. It doesn't cost the town of Wilmington money, it's taking away from profits. Keep that in mind. The school has a lot of built-in risk that is valid in case you have overruns and stuff. There's 25% of the total cost is for these overruns. If they don't spend it, they get to keep it, it looks like. Oh, they don't keep it? Well, it comes back to the town in theory, but I haven't seen too much of that ever happening. But I know they're not going ahead and looking to do this testing. I prefer not going back to the town and be used for testing, please. Phase 2 site of testing, please. Independent, by the way, as well. I would like to see somebody that is completely independent. Whoever did the Olin site, I'd love to see them come through because they found problems. How many kids got cancer from the Olin site? Does anybody know here? How many kids died from it? Does anybody know?
Wrap this up.
Sorry, but that's the point.
Let's stay focused on.
Sorry, so back to this. We're looking at toxic waste.
This is a permit.
What could happen with the digging and expanding out and putting out toxic waste into the sky, into the air, pushing it out into the groundwater because you're digging when you don't know for sure. It's as simple as that. All I want to know is for sure. If it's clean and good to go, feel free to dig. But all indications of everything we've seen, it's not happening. Everybody's taking shortcuts, trying to get the project done, trying to be finished with it, and not putting the safety of the children, residents, and teachers ahead of the development and delivery of the school.
Yeah, I don't agree with you there. I think everybody's taking safety into effect, and everybody wants to care for the children, the teachers, the neighborhood, the residents. There's no one that's trying to undermine anything here.
Fair enough, I'll agree with that, no one wants to, but is everybody confident with the amount of testing we've done when we just heard with arsenic, you're not getting any smells, which have happened. The noxious smells came up. That will come from other things, I'm sure, that would be in toxic waste. We just don't know for sure. Everybody says we've done great testing beforehand, we're good to go. We have documented, the only thing I've heard of is the phase 1 testing. I've not heard of any phase 2 testing, which appears to be what we need to do. And then we heard that the phase 1 testing, again, was based on history, which was incorrect. The history is that, appears that more likely than not, toxic waste was put on that field. So if that's the case, wouldn't it be that more likely than not, arsenic would be in that toxic waste because it's a byproduct, 5 times the amount. It appears that that would be the case based on all the facts that I've heard. I'd like to hear why that wouldn't be the case in the future and why we should go forward without knowing for sure. Thank you.
Thank you. Does anyone else wish to speak? Yes.
Beth Barby, 300 Salem Street. I just have a couple questions for you. I'll try to keep it shorter. So first of all, given the huge amounts of soil that will be removed from the North Fields, I'd like to know what conditions you plan to add to mitigate the impact of this work for the residents living in this neighborhood. Do you have any?
Well, we have the 15 criteria that was listed that the contractor has to go by.
I meant more about like the noise and the dust and.
I believe those are in there, but those are both addressed.
There's time elements where they can start and stop.
So can you be more
and the
specific?
dust.
Do you know what those times are going to be? Because it obviously has to work around the drop-off and pickup for the kids.
So, yeah,
And it also indicated that as well, that they would work around the school and the drop-off for the kids. 7 a.m. to 4:30 p.m.
There's the hours of hauling. If there's rock crushing, it's only between 9 and 3. They're avoiding the drop-off and pickup times. There's requirements for dust mitigation.
So can I ask you also to clarify, so you said that the trucks are only going Ballard Vale 293, they're not going to be going down Middlesex?
We've made commitments to, and all the construction traffic is going to be going up.
Okay.
Ballard Vale.
And can you clarify the actual amount of soil that's being removed? Because the initial soil removal report said that there was going to be 9,940 cubic yards, and this says it's going to be 4,000. So that's kind of a big disparity.
So the permit that's requested is for 4,000 cubic yards. If there's a requirement to have more, they would be required to come back and amend the permit with the.
Okay, but Pierre initially said that the larger amount, the 9,940, needed to be removed.
That could have been a report before a site contractor was involved. When site contractors look at projects, they all look at it differently and how they manage the soil themselves on site. That's my assumption is that, the reference of 9,000 from Pierre might have been before the application of this earthwork was submitted.
Okay. A lot of the other things I had here have already been answered, so I'm not going to ask the rest of those. Another neighbor did ask if I could read her letter because she's on vacation. Are you okay with me doing that, or
Yes.
is that a problem?
Go ahead.
That's okay. So this is from Michelle Drown at 482 Middlesex Avenue. She asked me to read this on her behalf. It says, "Good evening. I would like to begin by saying that I am unfamiliar with the details of construction and have many questions and concerns to address. This build requires 4,000 cubic yards of soil to be removed. This is no small amount of soil. A standard dump truck capacity is 12 to 14 cubic yards per load. To move this amount of soil, it will require 286 to 335 full loads. An empty dump truck weighs 14,000 to 36,000 pounds, or 7 to 18 tons. When filled, it can weigh anywhere from 25 to 26.5 tons with dry soil, or 30 to 32.5 tons of wet soil. This is a massive amount of weight with a massive amount of truck trips. What is the plan of action? If using a single axle truck, you're looking at more truckloads of around 286 to 334 trips, which would be easier to traverse the tight residential roads with a lower road weight capacity, but with a longer timetable. It does not go unnoticed that there is another option, which is to use triaxle trucks, creating fewer trips, approximately 222 to 266. These numbers are only one way. You are actually doubling this number to account for the empty trucks arriving to the site. Both options severely risk repetitive overloading of a residential road weight capacity, causing potential road damage leading to soil compaction, which can lead to water line rupture or cracking, gas lines to break, and other underground utility damage. These are a very serious, catastrophic, and life-threatening consequence. Not to mention the vibrations causing excessive noise for both students at the north as well as residents, and the vibrations causing potential foundation damage to residential homes surrounding the building site. Best case scenario, this will take a month of excavating 5 days a week and removal before any construction can even begin. I would also like to discuss hours of operation. I'm already annoyed that excavation will be occurring during the school year. This should have occurred during summer break when all children are out for the summer. As it is, our children will not be able to use the playground during construction, will now effectively be playing on the side of the road, which is exactly where the trucks will be exiting, in addition to the already existing traffic on Salem Street. What safety measures are in place to protect our children, not only from existing traffic, but also construction traffic and pollution? The north school hours are 9:05 to 3:25. What exactly are the hours in which the excavation and truck traffic will occur? The truck should not be operating during pickup and drop-off hours. With that being said, this limits the hours of operation to roughly 4 to 5 hours per day, best case scenario. What is the plan for truck movement during recess hours? Are children going to miss out on recess for a month? Will there be a police detail during construction? Salem Street is already traversed by tractor trailers trying to access I-93 from Tewksbury. The additional 180 to 231 truckloads of soil will further cause traffic concerns. I would like to see more police presence throughout this construction to deter other trucking and speeding. I find it unacceptable that Middlesex Ave is being considered as a potential route, given the excessive traffic already present during peak commuting hours, which can extend beyond what is already listed in the town's plan for soil removal. Additionally, Route 62 is the first exit once on I-93 from the north. Using this route decreases overall travel time and mileage, as well as maintains commercial vehicles utilizing commercial roads instead of weight-restricted residential streets. We already have too many 18-wheelers using Middlesex as a shortcut to get onto 93. I'll skip the rest of that since
We've
that's
already
irrelevant. Yeah.
determined that they're not going down 62.
Correct.
And I would.
Again, she gave this to me
I would
before.
hardly doubt that the children would be in jeopardy if there are trucks. I would rely on the teachers' good judgment when it comes to the kids going outside and enjoying the fine weather when it happens, other than the snow. But her comment about safety with the kids, I think is unwarranted. But
Well, she does have a child that's going to the north, so.
oh no, I get it. I can't see a teacher saying, "Go ahead, run out the road."
I can't either. I am a teacher. However, things happen. Kids are fast.
Yeah.
I mean, it's. And then one more paragraph. Lastly, what is the plan for dust mitigation and vibration monitoring? This is a very real concern with the repetitive nature of the roughly 8 to 11 truckloads per day traveling the same route over 3 to 4 weeks. It is repetitive exposure to the vibrations that cause structural fatigue, leading to damage of walls, widening of existing cracks, as well as window rattling and loosening floorboards. Is the town offering homeowners a free home assessment for an independent third party prior to construction? If so, what radius is being considered? With regard to dust mitigation, what will water cannons, dust suppression cannons, excavator mounted sprayers, Water trucks, fire hoses, et cetera, be used to reduce dust and debris during excavation. Reducing dust, debris, and possible tannery contamination from entering the air should be of utmost importance, not only to protect our local residents, but also the children of this, since it's occurring during school hours. The new school should not only be a beautiful new addition to our town, but should also be accomplished while respecting and protecting the residents, including the children who are currently enrolled at the North. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Should I submit this? She wanted to submit it for the record?
Sure, you can give it to Bevel. Anyone else? Yeah, Mr. De Palma.
I'd just like to make a statement on the earth removal. The contracts may have been signed, agreements may have been reached, but they have not been approved by this board. And after their contracts were written, the town has set out a 15-point program that they want added to the contract. So bylaw says that we have to approve approve it. That's what we're here for. You can have any contract you want. It's like, I was with unions all my life. We'd sit down and negotiate a contract and basically agree on it. And then we present it to the body. And that's what they're doing right now. Their contracts, they've dealt with their contracts, they've had negotiations with the town, and now they're coming before us saying, this is what we want to do with the earth removal, and we're asking for your approval. If we say no to them, they're going to go back to the drawing board. It's as simple as that. And, I take offense when someone questions whether we're doing things not properly. This is why you have the bylaw, and this is why you have negotiations. And now we'll see how it's going to work out. But they can't do anything until we bless it. Until we vote on it, they can't touch it. That's all. Thank you, sir.
Anyone?
Mr. Chair, sorry.
Yeah.
A couple of things. One, if we do take a vote on this, which I assume we're going to, I would like to amend 5 to remove the words "and Salem Street south to Middlesex Ave, Route 62." You're saying that we're not doing that? Or they're not doing that, I should say. My other question is that it sounds like you guys are bringing this, and correct me if I'm wrong, from what Ms. Sullivan was saying, that I think it was her that said that this material is going to be brought to an arsenic-friendly site. So it sounds like you're already aware that it has high levels of arsenic, and it's probably soil that the town would consider contaminated, that we would not want. Is that a true statement?
I'll tee this up, and I'll have Ms. Stiller probably correct me, but the naturally occurring arsenic, there's varying levels of it, I'd have to say, Wilmington is in that belt, but it is up to the town. If you were interested in having the topsoil, we definitely can have that conversation, but that is up to the town to decide. And I think there's obviously there can be different opinions if you want the topsoil or not. When it gets trucked to a facility, as Andrea indicated, that facility has to be an approved receiving facility, and certain facilities will take certain soils and others won't. I don't know, Andrea, if you want to add anything or correct what I stated?
Sure. No, that's correct. I think if the topsoil is one situation, and then the underlying soils are another, to my mind. I would want to know where both are going. Well, for the topsoil, if you wanted to reuse it and there was an appropriate reuse in order to be protective, I would want to know what you plan to do with it, and sort of help the town decide what if that was an appropriate reuse. The topsoil doesn't exceed any residential standards, doesn't exceed any reporting or health-based standards at all. The underlying soil is a different situation. I would not approve of moving that anywhere without reviewing in detail the location where you might want to bring it, and then it might require a permitting with DEP in order to reuse that in town. So the topsoil is a different situation. The underlying soil, the sand and gravel, it is not okay to just to reuse that in town as you wish. We'd need to do some due diligence if that's something you want to do.
Okay, so probably at a minimum, we should probably get manifests for the copies of the manifest or copy of the testing that each of these truckloads, sounds like you're gonna have a manifest for each truckload, and each truckload is gonna be tested. So at a
No. We're not going to test each.
Oh, froze.
We're waiting on the word.
Each truckload. We're going to go to a facility that can accept naturally occurring arsenic. We're not going to test every truckload. No. We know that there's a certain percentage of samples that will exceed the 20 part per million, and some that won't. And it may depend. There's so many variables. You know how much of the parent bedrock is in that sample of soil. Is it more gravelly versus fines that have less of the minerals? In order to be time and cost effective, we're going to send all our data to the receiving facility and say, this is the range of soils that are at the site, and they will decide if it's appropriate for them to accept it and reuse it.
Okay,
Mr. Sheriff, if you could add.
Did that answer your question?
Angie, is it safe to say, just as if I understand Mr. West's question and the conditions that have been imposed, the town may be interested in the loam, the topsoil on the site that we're talking about, correct? Not the underlying soil, sand and gravel that, may have certain levels of arsenic. That stuff is being grouped with everything that's going to a DEP-approved site. The loam is clean, and its potential use within the town is something that we can discuss. Outside of the contracts that we cited, we had no idea that the town was interested and had a site capable of doing that. Once we understand what that is, where you want it, how we would store it, we've characterized that soil as clean, and that can be reused within the community. It's the stuff that's down deeper, right, that has different levels of that. We're taking all of that to a DEP-approved site.
And again, I'm not speaking specifically for the town as far as,
Sure.
do we want to use it and store it and all that? I mean, that would be through the town manager and town departments. All my concern is that I'm just thinking that if it's good topsoil that can be reused, recycled within the town, especially where we potentially have projects like the potential of, as the manager said, the Sharapa Farm site, or as I mentioned earlier, the Wildwood School being dug for a cemetery or whatever. Just a thought.
So I think that is available and in place. You have conditions saying the town would like to keep as much of that as possible here. If we can identify some locations where that is, and we can work with the contract that's existing right now to be able to work that out, because the topsoil has been characterized as clean.
And I would say that we should get copies of the testing that was done on the bedrock or lower soils or whatever you guys are testing. That's from our town. We should get copies of those reports so that we could have anybody in town analyze those results.
You will have all of that information.
Board of Health or,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, no, I'm confused now, because I thought I heard Ms. Stiller say that the topsoil was contaminated as well. I misunderstood?
No. The topsoil is not contaminated.
Okay. Did you have?
I'm good. Thank
Okay.
you.
And then just one other question, and I'm not, you mentioned that there were 34 borings that were done?
Yeah.
Is that what you said?
There were, from what I could, from the geotechnical reports, 34 borings, 17 test pits. Maybe there were more that I didn't count, but my point being that it's a substantial assessment program that is sort of conducted throughout the property. It's not just focused in one, small area. Explorations were distributed throughout the old and the existing and proposed school areas.
And did I understand, did you say that only 8 of them were tested? Because you said 34
8
test
samples
boring,
were sent.
and so you only sent, out of the 34 test borings, you only sent 8 samples?
Several locations were composited together and sent out, and there was a total of 8 that were tested.
Yeah.
Which again is a substantial, a significant number of amount of testing
Well,
in the pre-characterization, so that we understand what's at the site, what's not, are there any contaminants of concern?
okay, thank you.
And in each of those 8, there was a comprehensive suite of analyses that was conducted on each. And they were fairly consistent with each other in showing no VOCs, no petroleum, no PCBs, no pesticides, no metals of significance except arsenic.
Consolidated sum, and there was a total of 8.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay. We're all set? Okay. Is there a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Palmer, second by Ms. Maselli. Any other further discussion on this? All in favor? Closing? Okay, thank you. All right. Is there a motion to allow the permit processing here for 320 Salem Street? Permit of earth removal.
Do you want to make it with the amendment to this?
With the amendment
Condition number 5?
to number 5, which would eliminate
Salem
the
Street.
words "and," would add a period after 93, and eliminate from "and" all the way to Route 62.
So moved.
I'll second for discussion.
Second for further discussion.
Just a quick comment, is there?
I'm sorry, Bev, that was a motion by Ms. Maselli, seconded by Mr. West.
My point is that, should we put in here that we would like copies of the soil testing, or is that somewhere else?
We already have it.
them.
No, the testing that they're going to be doing for the truckloads that are going to be going to whatever these facilities are.
Well, we don't need to put that in there. We'll have that. That's part of their required submission.
That's part of their
Yeah.
requirement, okay, thank you. I just want to make sure that we get it, so that.
Yeah, it's part of
So that
our,
we can review, we, the
we're
town.
required by law to keep that as part of the project
Okay.
file.
Thank you.
All right, hearing no other discussion, all those in favor of allowing the permit process for the earth removal? And it's unanimous.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
If anybody's leaving, if you could leave quietly, we have other business to take care of.
Thank you, Andrea.
Thanks, folks.
And I apologize for the lateness. Elizabeth Lawrenson, our town clerk, regarding the 2026 elections.
Good evening.
Hi. Yes. Oh, waiting for the.
Hi.
Hi.
So I'm here before you as I normally do to prepare for the upcoming September state primary, and I am asking for permission to add additional staff. I reached out to the 2 political committees, and they were kind enough to recruit some extra election workers. I anticipate a challenging primary. We have 2 possible write-in campaigns that are happening in the Republican Party, which will mean a lot more tallying, and we're going to need more workers to assist in that. I also have the warrant that was created between Secretary of the Commonwealth and myself. They send out a kind of a template, and I add the information that is pertaining to Wilmington. That needs to be posted by the constable in the 6 different areas in town that are within the precincts. And I usually post this up on my website as well. And the last thing I'm asking the board, I am adding a few changes to my fee schedule. We are commissioners to qualify, and we swear notaries and state appointees in. It's a big convenience. The majority of the people we swear in aren't even residents of Wilmington, but we've never charged. Some communities do. The state recommends a $5 fee, so that's what I put on my fee schedule. And Canada has changed their rights to dual citizenship requirements. So we're finding a tremendous amount of requests of birth records back into the late 1800s, early 1800s. You can go back to your great-great-grandfather if you want to be, if he was born in Canada. So those records don't exist. They're indexed in old leather books. Wow. And we have to create them, and it's usually people that don't even live in the state that are asking us for it. Oh, so I was asking to add a $25 fee for genealogy. So that means if you want your birth certificate, it's $10, but if you want your great-great-great-great-grandfather's birth certificate, it's a $25 fee to create.
Yeah.
Interesting. If you want dual citizenship to Italy, you have until 2027 to do it.
Oh, really?
They're going to close it down.
Really?
Do you have dual citizenship?
No, I don't.
Oh, let me get on that.
I did give you additional information in your packet. They're changing the colors of the party's ballots, so in case you were asked any questions regarding that, Republicans are now finally going to be red and Democrats are going to be blue. It's been a bone of contention for a lot of committed party members. So he's finally relented. And I gave you important dates for the next 2 elections so that you have those before you if asked by residents.
Great.
I noticed you have yellow in there too, which is, you have yellow in there too, which is good. That's my favorite color. I'm glad you have that.
Yeah, that was the early voting. Yeah, early voting absentee is yellow.
All right. So we're going to take up these 3 items to vote on now. So the first one is the appointment of supplemental election workers. There are 6.
So moved.
Second.
A motion by Ms. Pacelli, seconded by Mr. De Palma.
Do you want to
Do you
read?
want to read them?
So the members of the that are being proposed to be appointed: Christine Warren, Nina Miranda, Joseph Miranda, Jeffrey Cohen, Gail Walila, and Edward Pirello.
Okay, so there's a motion, there's a second, any discussion? All in favor? That's unanimous. Second is the signing of the warrant for the state primary on September 1st.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. De Palma made the motion, seconded by Ms. Maselli. Any discussion? All in favor? Okay. I suppose we can't move that primary date, right? No sense in talking about it. And the next is to add 2 new fees, the fee schedule for genealogy and research, and the other's notary, right? The notary.
I just have a question, Mr. Chairman, on that.
Sure.
On the state appointments, who would typically come in for a state appointment?
I've sworn in a governor's council. He lived in Andover, so he didn't have to go into Boston when he was appointed by the governor. And then constables, justice of the peace, any type of, when the governor creates a committee and appoints a group of people, they have the option to come to a commissioner to qualify. And that's what myself and my assistant town clerk and my senior clerks are all commissioners to qualify. You need 2 of us to sign it in, and we handle the paperwork, mail it into Boston.
And in many towns, the clerks, I'm just curious.
Yeah, all clerks are required to be a commissioner to qualify. They're not required to advertise, so I don't have it in the commissioner's books. I don't have us listed because we never charged, and it was kind of, people shop around and they find the town that, is not charging, and they travel there.
Yeah.
But it's a huge convenience, rather than driving into Boston as a notary to get reappointed.
Yeah.
And it's a convenience within the building as well, because I swear in the notaries that work in the town hall.
Okay, was there a motion?
Motion, second.
And seconded already?
No, I don't think it was second.
Are you making the motion?
I made the motion.
Mr. De Palma making the motion, seconded by Mr. West. Any further discussion? All those in favor? And that's unanimous.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for your time tonight.
Have a good
Thanks,
night.
Beth.
Thanks for hanging in. Okay, our 7:45 appointment at 8:50. And I do apologize to Mr. Cardillo. Oh, sure. Yeah, okay. We're going to take a 5-minute recess, if we could. All right. Yeah.
I just want to stand up.
We just got the word that we're going to continue on. At this time, we have our appointment with Paul Cardillo from the iPods Wounded Veterans, an outstanding organization that started 15 years ago in the town of Wilmington and locally, but is now nationally. And that just has done an outstanding job with his volunteers in the organization. I know I've gone to several events as well, and Paul, take it away.
Well, first of all, thanks for you, Kevin, and our new town manager, Eric, to come here on our 15th anniversary in town. And we represent like the Merrimack Valley, Billerica, Bedford, all that area with VA hospitals. We started here, and now we're national organizations all over the country. In the last 15 years, we serviced 2,850 servicemen and women nationally. We've gone to Walter Reed 20 times in the last 15 years. And we're kind of here because of Lou Samaya. You know him? Lou Samaya? Well, he put together this bus trip to go do the monuments. And my friend over here, John Parker, is there.
Yeah, that's where I met Paul.
Yeah, my friend.
That's when I should have ran.
Remember, I'm United States Air Force, he's Army, so I'm gonna get that straight right out of the gate, okay? All right. It just so happens I sit across from him. And we went to Walter Reed, him and I saw it. And we just shook our heads. We actually didn't talk too much. And the Teamsters in Washington picked us up, and we got into Walter Reed. I want to make this very specific because of Jim Maselli. He pushed us to get a Class A security clearance to get into these places. And without him, we never, iPods wouldn't even exist. So basically, we saw the monuments, and we went to Walter Reed. We only had 50 iPods, and there was 93 amputees. And he said, oh, we kind of, good, but not so good, And Jay at the time was the commander of the VFW in Billerica. And once he saw how bad it was up at Walter Reed, it was it was imperative that we had to do something else. So this was Columbus Day of 2010. Tuesday afternoon, 3 o'clock, I get a call from Walter Reed and Rear Admiral M.L. Nathan. Of course, I think it's him. It's the first phone call of my life I ever got a phone call from Rear Admiral M.L. Nathan. I get on the phone, I said, yes, sir, this is Paul Cadeau. I don't know what you did, I don't know how you did it, but all the soldiers up here, that's all they're talking about, you people that you gotta come back Thanksgiving. I said, we only had 50, there was 93 there. You just gotta come back, he says. So, I talked to Jay, I said, Jay, what are we gonna do? And he's massive fundraiser here. He raised $6,000 in 5.5 weeks. We went down there with 90 iPods. And we made sure this time everybody got one. The iPod Shuffle, all one like this, way back, and we go back to 2011. And so, okay, it was for real. And then we get a formal letter from the Department of Navy. He sent us and he personally signed us. And he thanked us. So, we saw how bad it was, and then Jay said, he said, we have to do something here. There's a void, we have to do something here. And that's how it started. We started, we had to call the State House because no one knew how to run a 501c3. You had to get all the rules. We went backwards here. We went national first instead of starting in Wilmington and Billerica. So we're going down here, and all the soldiers come back. And that's how it started, that forgetful Greyhound bus that we went down here, and Lou put it together, and they made a documentary about it at WCTV. So I never thought in a million years it would grow like this. I've been chairman for 15 years, right? I should have said a 3-year term, mandate, but my partner in crime, I know, we just met the match, and Jay is United States Army Vietnam, and he's going to talk about fundraising and what it meant to him to give out laptops and to all these injured soldiers we saw. We're talking badly burned, multiple amputees here, the worst. Go ahead, Jay.
All right, my name is John Parker. I'm originally from Wilmington. I was drafted in 1968 out of Wilmington. What we did, as Paul was saying, we met on the bus and we discussed it. But really, I had to ask the big boss what we should do. The big boss is right there. Stand up, Rose. Stand up. Honestly, I'm going to tell you the truth. Honestly, if it wasn't for this woman, this organization would have never went, because I said to her, what do you think? She said, let's do it. And we started. I said to him, we're off. But she's the one that gave me the boost to do it. Yeah. First of all, I am very, very proud to represent Wilmington and also Billerica. I'm from Billerica now, but I'm very proud everywhere I go to represent the town of Wilmington and Billerica. When we first went over there, we seen the double, triple amputees, half bodies, half heads, and we knew we had to do something. And it was just outstanding. My buddy Rick Laramore, who was a Rod Stewart impersonator, came down. I got him. We raised over $6,000, and we started ever since, and we've been going. Also, I've been doing a lot of, I do a lot of fundraising myself. My family does. My wife, especially, that's why I give her the credit, because if it wasn't for her, she's done a lot of work for this organization. We've done motorcycle runs. She's made up like 75 pounds of potato salad for the bike riders, done all the cooking, and that's a lot of hard work for a couple of people. But we've been doing this 15 years, and we've been all over the United States. All over the United States. We've been we actually met the real Forrest Gump. We actually met Bruce Crandall. If you ever seen the movie We Were Soldiers, Bruce Crandall was the helicopter pilot. We we have a picture taken with them. Our biggest thing is we get the thanks when, you know, when a veteran comes up to us and says, thank you so much. It's that little gift that means so much. And I'm so happy and so proud to be able to give back. I made it home from Vietnam. A couple of my buddies didn't make it home, especially from Wilmington here. Johnny Fullerton, Richie Welch, and Parent, and the other kids, 4 of us from Wilmington didn't make it. And I'm glad I made it. So I want to give back, and this is the way for me to give back to other ones. Once again, we'll continue to keep Wilmington on the map, make you people proud of what we do. Mr. Fox, are you around? Come up and speak, Mr. Fox. Mr. Wayne A. Fox, he's the co-chairman. He's my brother from another mother. Come on, Wayne.
Sure.
Yeah.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's a true privilege and honor to be here. Town of Wilmington is Paul's home base and ground zero for us for this project. I want to say hello to all the selectmen and the parties I have in front, and just thank you for your support over the years, for the parades that we've been able to be involved in, all the support you've done for us. It's been a real eye-opener and humbling event to be part of this dream that Paul started on a napkin in a Dunkin' Donuts years ago. I never thought it would mushroom into what it has, and I'm very proud to be affiliated and have Paul as a big brother and a mentor to have me focus on such a great project. My dad was a World War II veteran, 2nd Lieutenant, U.S. Army. Alden E. Fox, my hero. He was Igor Sikorsky's lead engineer during the design and built of the Black Hawk when it was top secret in the 60s. So I got to see a lot of military in my dad's family. But as John had said so eloquently, we see the worst of the worst. We don't sign a form letter, hand it out, give them a box, and say thank you with a rubber stamp. Quick story, the late, great Jimmy Williams, who was with us, we were at Walter Reed for one of our many trips, and there was a young man who was in having, a procedure. We missed him. We wanted to go back, so we spoke with the nurse on staff. She said, "Oh, he just came back. He just had his leg amputated 3 months before that, and he had new bone growth that they had to remove." 19. He's laying in bed, got the triangle up there. Next minute, Jimmy and I said, we're just going to talk to him for a second. And we could see that him laying down, he did not look comfortable. Said, would you like to sit up? And the mother's sitting next to the bed, wringing her hands, and said, no, he just came from a procedure. He just had surgery a couple days ago, and it was bleeding through the gauze and the bandages. I gave him the grab bar, and his mom said, no. He goes, Mom, I'm okay. He just wanted to look at us eye to eye, and I'll never forget it as long as I live, because he wanted to be on the same sight line as 2 men talking to him. And that gives me chills every time I revisit this story and think about it in my heart and my soul. But this is the kinds of kids and parents that we have representing the greatest damn nation in the world, all right? And we don't do some things right, but we do more things, better than most. So I am very, very proud to be a part of this whole group that's representing all the iPods, the town of Wilmington, and all the other municipalities that have represented us and helped us fundraise. So on that note, I just want to say thank you for what you have done and continue to do, not only for iPods, but for the community and this country. Because you know what? As Dorothy said in The Wizard of Oz, which is my favorite movie, there's no place like home. God bless you and your family.
It certainly is nice that you're thanking us, but for the 3 of you, we want to thank you for your service to this great country, and you deserve a round of applause. And any other veteran who's out there, why don't we have any veterans out there can stand up?
All in back.
Would the veterans please just stand up for quickly?
Yeah. So I want to introduce everybody to the board of directors. We came back, you know, when Mr. Maselli said, well, we got to do a 501c3, you got to get, you know, nonprofit status. And we come up a mixture of business, medical, and veterans. These are our board of directors. Paul Cadello, United States Air Force. Wayne Fox, his dad was a World War II pilot. John Parker, Vietnam Liaison Officer, United States Army. Joe Savanti, Teamster Liaison Office, United States Army. Larry Hall, Business Manager. Karen Clark, Public Relation and Fundraising. Cindy Werdeman, Social Media Director. And Kathleen McKenna, the first DSO, basically the treasurer to keep us out of the red. You don't want to cross Kathleen, because it's a real bad situation. And we finally have a member from Wilmington who was on our board in memory of our board of directors, Edward J. Williams, United States Army. So let's give him a nice round of applause. So we're here because of one business in Wilmington. And if I didn't mention this name, I wouldn't be here, and Jay, nobody else would be here. His name is Bill Gallagher, the owner of Boston Graphics. He does all our designs and stuff, doesn't want any publicity at all. And he designed everything, the awards and everything. And I'm gonna have another volunteer, Keith Black. He's gonna talk about Boston Graphics donated to the hurricane victims. He's from Team Local 170 out of Worcester, and I'm from 170 in Local 25. So we'll get right into that. So quickly, everybody who could make it here, I know it's summertime, and you know, what a time to have an awards ceremony, right? Out of our mind. But Bill Gallagher is the brainchild of this, and I'm the spokesman for him, because he doesn't like to do this stuff. So, our first award, let's go here, right? Keith, is to our veteran, wait a minute. Let me get these correctly. Veteran Service. Veteran Service Office, Michael Thornton. Patty Meehan.
Wait. Give out some of these awards.
Yeah. You got the award for?
Thank you.
Wait a minute. So Michael has just come on as appointed director by the town, and is right after Lou Savagna, and Lou's the brainchild here. I wish he was here, so.
Mike and Patty have done an outstanding job.
Outstanding job.
For many, many years with Lou, but now just keep carrying it on and continuing on with the good work that you're doing day in and day out. So we're very happy with the Veterans Office.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'd like to say, our organization, we're all volunteers. Nobody takes a salary. Nobody.
That's it.
That's right.
That's it.
That's unbelievable. It's great.
All right, Mike, you want to turn that around so we can show the board?
Oh, nice.
Very nice.
It's our Military Patriot Award for a Veteran Service Office for Wilmington, Massachusetts. Congratulations.
Awesome.
Thanks. Thank you. Thank you. Our next award is for the town of Wilmington. I thought a long time about this, real long time. It is called the Legacy Award. What does legacy mean? Legacy means when someone goes on above and beyond the call of duty. Everyone wants to be like him or be like her and set a standard of how we're going to live in America, in their town or city. So, this is on behalf of a lot of people, and you are the first town to ever get this award. And all I can say, I've been a resident of Wilmington for 51 and a half years, more than Kevin.
You're only a child.
But I should say this about Kevin. If Kevin didn't do his job behind the scenes, we wouldn't be here either. So, but please accept this award for all the residents of Wilmington, all our servicemen who are, and women who are in service right now or who have served this country. And also, should give this to Town Manager Eric Slago. And Yep.
Oh, we're gonna go behind you, the Board of Selectmen, Jody.
You want to take pictures?
Because
Okay.
you've heard that old saying, but wait, there's more.
And our next award is to Kevin Kyra. That's Wilmington Center Hilly is, if you want to know about iPods, you talk to Kevin. They give out military hats. And our next award is to Frank West, who gives us toiletries in the Boy Scouts. If these two gentlemen behind the scenes, right, like Jay said, we have 30 volunteers, no paid employees, 0. And that's how this function works. And I can't be happy to be a resident of Wilmington, that I have 2 selectmen on the board that volunteer services to help the veterans out. And what it means, you know, for the veterans to get stuff like that. So Kevin's master of disaster and military hats. And Frank is, you know, toiletries, really like this guy, in the hospitals and everything else. I can't thank you enough, Frank, for your donations during Christmas time and Thanksgiving. And I really appreciate it. But the legacy of the town of Wilmington and the people in this town, I wouldn't rather live in any other place in the United States of America. So congratulations to the town of Wilmington, and good luck in the future. Okay?
Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, our next award is going to be a company that has just come on board, a Wilmington company called Napa Distribution Center. And they are down there on Woburn Street. And so we have a representative from Napa.
If you're receiving an award, you can just come right up front so that the camera can get you.
Yeah, Dave Peters is here, we're manager of Wilmington location. And we got invited to go down to his plant and meet all the employees about 3 weeks ago. And everybody came out, and we want the manager of the whole plant and everybody. And it was outside, and my Coast Guard friend, Henry Diorio, was sitting way in the back. He was there, and we met all the volunteers that helped us out. So Napa's donated auto parts products to the veterans, little bags where they can put utensils in. And Dave's a big believer in our program. So he's just been in his first parade in Chelmsford. So let's give it a nice round. This is a Wilmington company, that's Dave Peters.
You know,
40 employees at Napa, Boston, 65 employees at Napa.
it was strange. Paul said to me, come on, we got to go to Napa because we've got a new sponsor. He said, you got to meet the guy. I go down. He recognizes me. He lived in my neighborhood when he was a little kid.
Small world.
We can't do it without David. Congratulations.
Thank you, David.
Thank you. All right. The best for last, but we're going to do them all. All right? Yeah. All right.
Don't go away.
Yeah. All right, the next presentation is, I don't know how to say this, but to the man to the right, to my right is United States veteran John Parker. And John, congratulations. See that? Very nice, very nice.
Thank you, Paul.
Very nice.
Put up with you for 15 years.
So I basically, you know, we just couldn't run without one without the other. You know what I mean? His ideas and my crazy brain kind of mix and match. And can we have John Parker's award, please?
Oh, putting up with you 15 years, Paul?
Yeah, I know.
hope it's gold.
I know.
You know, we're on the bus. When we first met, we're on the bus, right? This is a true story. I look over, right? I thought that there was a bunch of ants in the bus because the little mountain of crumbs, like, you know, like a little ant hole, was him eating cookies, all the crumbs going down.
Paul, remember you said he wasn't going to be here?
Huh?
Remember you said he wasn't going to be here?
Yeah, I know. Who, Greg?
We'll always keep turning
Yeah.
That's all right, Paul.
Not here?
Just send the UPS.
I could have swore it was in there.
John,
Oh, yeah.
he had me
That's
drive the
right.
van to
No.
where, Brockton, I think?
What's that?
He had me
Down to
drive the
the
van to
bus.
Brockton with all the stuff in it.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
All right. Say something. All right, we left it home. All right, what about Wayne? We leave his there? No.
It figures.
I figured.
Should have been.
I know, throw them away. All right, let's start. I know we have Richard McGaffey here from Channel 7 News from Tewksbury here, because I saw him a little while ago. Is he here?
Yeah.
Hey, Mikey.
You go way over there, way over there.
He's gone. He's not there neither.
You go to the left hand out, right there.
Paul, remember that box I said we were going to bring?
No. That's it, we're 3 for 3, we're batting 1,000. All right. All right, is the lady from Wilmington, Tewksbury Elks here? Did she?
Yeah, she's here.
Yep. Right.
Yeah, she's here.
Ray Metcalf? Don't tell me that's going to.
Paul, our next meeting is August 17th, if you want to come back with the flags.
Continue this next meeting.
Oh, we're really bad.
I told you to leave me in charge.
All right. Well, it looks like I'm gonna be replaced, that's for sure. All right.
What's
I
your
know this
envelope?
guy's
right
here.
here.
Get your envelope.
She's here.
She's here.
The envelope.
How about Brian? Oh,
Yeah.
You have the envelope.
Where's the envelope?
all right. Here you go. All right, so that's Ray Metcalf, United States Army. Our next one is Wayne Fox, our director. We don't want him here.
Wayne, yay, Wayne. Well, that's all you get, the envelope too.
Yeah, well, you guys says there'll be a $2,000 steak dinner. All right. From the Chelmsford Parade, Brian Reedy. I know I saw him because I shook his hand. I hope he's here. Is he still here? Brian Reedy?
No, no.
Nope.
No, yeah, all right. All right, let's see. We don't have a signature. Our next one is Craig Denise. I saw Craig Denise here. Congratulations, Craig. Craig's from Linfield, Mass. He's one of our top volunteers. And his daughter has won Digital Media Award from iPods when Gail Porter Pappas passed away. She took over. She's an Austin Prep student, and she's going to the University of Virginia. Sydney, I don't know where her fucking thing is. No, I don't have yours, but we have your. We don't have Sydney's there.
Go Cavaliers.
I saw it once.
He's got it in the bag, he said.
It's in the bag?
Yeah, bring some up.
Oh, yeah, that's right, 'cause you have that. Sydney. Oh, yeah, Sydney, Sydney, look what you're getting.
We're both going to do a lot of extra for us.
Yeah.
This is for you. And this is for you.
That's so nice.
Sydney was in a very difficult position to replace Gail Porter Pappas and do all the digital media. And she's done a wonderful job of Facebook and Instagram and everything. And I'm really proud of her. 1,600 on the boards for Sydney. Our other award is from Wilmington High School. Unfortunately, she's in the emergency room. Tonight she got sick. And I just got a call a little while ago. Her name is Caitlin Shackelford. Her great-grandfather was a Windtalker from the Cherokee Nation. And she's been with us since she was a freshman. And she's going to UMass Amherst, and she wants to be a doctor. From Wilmington High School, Caitlin Shackelford. Well, unfortunately, Brian really had to leave, but he was like the chairman of the Chelmsford Parade, the big 4th of July parade. And we got to be the major sponsor. Jay built a float, I don't know, about 7, 8 years ago, and they just had a major fundraiser for us, and they gave us $1,000 towards the veterans, and everybody donated time.
Wonderful.
So Brian Reading in the Chelmsford Parade, let's give him a nice round of applause. I don't think, let's go to Charlie Porter Pappas. And Charlie. Charlie is a son of Gail Porter Pappas, and you can ask him. She kept me and him in line all the time.
Yeah, she had to
You know, we had to work for her. You know what I mean? It was reversed. And Charlie, it's been a great for us for iPods and Charlie photo time over there. You're on TV, buddy. Come on.
One last thing. My mother didn't know it, but she had 2 other sons that she had to take care of and keep in line.
We knew that. She did a great job.
He's got to go.
Yeah. Oh, our newest sponsor is Uncle John's Ice Creamery in Market Basketball. They ran. He is United States Air Force, very proud member of the United States Air Force, I may ask. And they ran the ice cream stand at the 4th of July, and they have raised $1,000 for iPods for wounded veterans.
Hey, great job.
And so if you buy ice cream, you better buy it from Uncle John's if you live in Wilmington. Please, please, do it for me. Do it for me.
They have great ice cream.
That's for you.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations. Thank you. Is Jenny Summers from Home Depot here? Jenny, I know. Save the best for last, Jenny. Save the best for last.
Thank you, dear. Thank you so much.
I can't thank enough for my person, this person right here. 2.5 years ago, I lost my wife, Linda, to a major heart attack. And this person, I was down in the dumps, and Wendy McDonald named me for Veteran of the Year in the Merrimack Valley. And somehow, some way, I beat out a lot of guys, but I was the Home Depot winner. And Jenny, I won a grant from Home Depot, and I got a washer, dryer, and a dishwasher. But then she got like 15 to 20 employees from Reading and I believe Saugus, and they revamped the front of my house, and they made Linda's flower garden.
Oh, that's nice.
So they built the flower garden for me. And I always see a picture when I come out of my house every day. Very special woman here. Had a major medical situation where we were lucky she's here today. So without a doubt, Jenny, please
Paul, you had mentioned that's your last award, because I want to recognize our state representative, Dave
yeah,
Robertson.
that's him. Call him up right now, right now.
Want me to call him up right now?
Right now, that's
All
his
right,
turn.
our state rep is here with us.
State rep
Dave
is here,
Robertson.
yeah.
David?
You wanted more talking, Mr. Chair?
Yeah.
I'll keep it short and sweet because I have a privilege here. Paul reached out to me and he said, what can we do to show our sincerity to this community? Whether it's the seniors in the high school, our retired residents up at the senior center, I've seen each of you in public duty and as ourselves as private citizens support this group. And so it's kind of odd. I'm reading, I guess, a nebulous award to the town of Wilmington today, but with genuine sincerity, because this community really does. This town really was the genesis of this program. I was much younger, and I remember when we all first heard about this program, and we realized what they were doing, taking these electronics and adapting them in a way that our men and women that were injured in the line of duty, protecting our freedoms, had a tomorrow, a way to reach to their family, a way to let the loved ones know they're safe, or their friends, or to educate themselves, or what have you. So this community, it's been said, but I have to say it too, you will as well. I'm so proud tonight of being here and celebrating what iPods has done, not just put Wilmington on the map, but Massachusetts on the map. And it's just another special example of why this isn't a town but a home here. So the Commonwealth of Massachusetts offers its sincerest congratulations to the residents in town of Wilmington in recognition of your ongoing spirit of volunteerism and commitment to serving those who served us by supporting the iPods for wounded veterans. Wilmington's generosity has inspired not just our community, but the entire Commonwealth to remember the sacrifices of our service members and continue supporting those injured in the line of duty in defense of our freedoms upon their return home. And like I said, I can't present this to all 25 or 28,000 of us. I wish I could. Might be upset about how we spend our tax dollars, so I hope this one here will suffice. And you know, our generous support is passed through this. So thank you all, residents.
So I do want to apologize for starting so late, Paul, on this. I know you were on the schedule for 7:45, so. And I want to thank everybody for staying and sticking it out for Paul and for John and for.
I'd like to say one thing before I leave, please. What I get out of this organization, I'm going to just tell a quick story. What makes me feel great about what I do. We go down to the spinal cord injuries down to Richmond, Virginia. There was this young girl, her name was Brenda. She was in a wheelchair. She'll never feed herself again, never walk or never feed herself again. I become little buddies with her. So our second trip down, I brought down Rick Larimer to Rod Stewart, and also an Elvis impersonator to play at all 4 hospitals. Well, this girl's out there in the driveway waiting for me to pull up. So I go in the circle, and I come around, and she's yelling for me, hey, 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 come over here, come over here. So I get out, and I went over, and I hugged her, and I says, hi, Brenda. I says, how you doing, honey? She says, I'm doing good. She says, but I got some bad news and good news to tell you. I says, you do? She says, yeah. And I says, well, why don't you give me the good news first, honey? And the reason I'm telling you this is because I'll never forget it. It chokes me up. And she says, the good news is I'm finally going home. She says, I've been in this hospital for 2 years, and I'm going to go home. And she says, and I hugged her. Tears come down my eyes. And I says, I'm so glad for you. You're going to be home with your parents and your family. I'm so happy for you. I said, now what's the bad news, honey? She says, she hugs me. She says, I won't see you no more.
Aww.
Yeah, that sticks with me for the rest of my life. That's what I get out of this organization. It's great. And I just want you people to know, you selectmen, I want to thank you once again for having us here tonight. And I will always, till the day I die, always represent this town in good manner and good faith for all the veterans of the United States. Thank you, and I'm so proud to serve. Thank you.
One quick sidebar, if I may. Paul has been so generous, not only with his time, his family, his love. He suffered a horrendous loss. Linda was she basically was, the scoutmaster of our post, and she took care of everything. She was the den mother. We lost Eddie Williams. We lost Gail. We lost a lot of great people. We also gained a lot of great people as well. But I met Paul when I worked in overnight air freight. We're both Teamsters. We started this program, and we did this sports talk TV show on WCTV for 22 years together. He has been, honestly, a big brother to me. And I just want to say thank you to Paul for showing and mentoring me and being the kind of human being that if we had more people like him to give more of themselves than they keep, we would be in a hell of a lot better place than we are. But we have potential. And with him at the helm, most of the time, don't let him drive, but with him at the helm, especially down to DC, 23 trips, it was scary, all right? We have had unbelievable memories and moments. And so I have a plaque here, the American Patriot Award for Paul, because he gives more than he gets.
Good fucking ball, lots of you. Is Jenny Summers still here? We forgot your envelope over here, Jenny.
John, why don't you sit down for a minute?
Sure.
If you wouldn't mind. Paul, you all set?
Yeah, you're done, Paul.
Okay, so this is what I'm going to, please indulge me, we're here now, we might as well do this. All of the individuals who received a certificate or an award, please come up around Paul and John so we can take a picture. Judy, I want you in it as well. And Bev, would you mind taking, and all the members of the Board of Selectmen?
To the Board of Selectmen, I don't know, new members of the board, Jerry, I know
State
you.
rep, yep.
Anytime you want to get a hold of me,
Just come up.
I am in the phone book.
Bev, can you, because you can.
Good?
Yeah, we can sit. We can sit, Paul.
I'm always in them.
That's it.
What do you want me to say?
I think you can get
Everybody smile.
But you can come right to them.
Rose? Yeah, come up here and get in the picture.
Kevin, you're gonna miss the shot.
Rose?
Yeah, like this?
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Come over. She's been with us since day one. Come over here.
Okay, Daddy. He likes when you call him that, though.
Okay, yeah.
All right, look up here. Good. Awesome.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you. No problem.
Thank you, Kevin.
You tell Mike I said hi, huh?
Thank you.
I went to school with his brother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As long as you don't trip, it's all good.
Is that for him?
That's for them. Don't worry, that's staying here.
That's for me.
Now you can go home?
Now you can go home.
Oh, we can go home. You guys aren't done yet.
No.
Oh, jeez. I should have known that. I wouldn't talk so long.
No, we enjoyed it.
We're here. Look at all this.
All right, let's get rid of us. Once again, thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you both for all that you do.
You know, at one time we were doing 1,900 miles a weekend.
Yeah. Did it 3 times a year.
God bless
That's
you
a lot of
all.
miles on.
God bless
Okay,
you all.
I'm going to continue on with the meeting, so I'm going to ask you as you leave, if you could do so quietly. Give that a shot. Thank you, John.
Wait a minute.
All right.
Quiet, you gotta leave because you're going to have a meeting.
Oh, you can, John, you can certainly stay if you want.
Yeah.
I don't know. Okay, we're gonna move on with the meeting.
Yeah, we're gonna take them out.
Continue the meeting.
Okay.
That's
On
okay.
to communications, Mr. Town Manager.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chair. Our first communication is for immediate release from MassDOT.
Hold on. I would suggest we buy a gavel, moving forward.
Yeah, gavel. Put that on the Amazon list.
With WCTV, make sure you cut all this part.
Yeah.
I remember that scene from the end of Mr. Smith Goes to Washington.
Okay, hey Frank.
Okay, go for it.
All right, here we go. Now we
Okay,
can
so
do
for immediate release
communications.
from MassDOT, this is an advisory to the town of Wilmington for long-term left shoulder closures and lane shifts for I-93 northbound and southbound. So please, everyone remember, long-term left shoulder closures and lane shifts will begin, they started on Wednesday, July 8th at 5 a.m. They will be in place through November 1st, 2028. So this is a long time change of lanes. Overnight temporary lane closures on Monday, July 6th and Tuesday, July 7th from 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. the following morning. This would be posted on our website. Mr. Chair, the next communication is from Eversource. This is a notice that came to the town of Wilmington regarding the Burlington to Woburn Supply Initiative and upcoming public meetings. This is regarding a new 115 kilovolt electric substation on 2 acres of Eversource property owned near Wynn Street, adjacent to an Eversource-owned right-of-way in Burlington. The reason why we are concerned about it here in Wilmington is because the overhead transmission lines will be coming on an existing right-of-way through Wilmington. If you look, there's a map on the Eversource page. If you can see, the purple lines, the new transmission lines that will be coming through Wilmington on an existing right-of-way. So that is why we're being notified. It's a crucial focus. If folks are interested, they're going to be, I believe there are going to be public hearings on this. And there's going to be a public meeting on Wednesday, June 20, oh, well, we've already missed that one. We will post this on the website as contact information for the Eversource Burlington to Woburn line.
Is this, Mr. Manager, is this the health center?
Leahy, yeah. There's
That's the
Burlington
health
Mall,
center?
there's Leahy.
Oh, okay.
But the new part is the purple part.
Oh, okay.
So that's what they're. And those are the 2 communications, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Manager. Board to consider.
Yep, so board to consider number 6, a request of Police Chief Brian Pupa to use Rotary Park for National Night Out on Tuesday, August 4th, from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Mr. West has the motion, Mr. De Palma second. Any discussion? All those in favor? Unanimous?
Okay, Mr. Chair, a board to consider number 7 as a request from the Wilmington Rotary to use Rotary Park on Saturday, August 29th, 2026, from 9 to noon for the Ice Bucket Challenge to benefit the Angel Fund of Wakefield for ALS research.
So moved.
So moved.
Motion by Ms.
Second.
Maselli, seconded by Mr. De Palma. Any discussion? All in favor? And that's unanimous.
And our final board to consider is a request from Sherry Almeida for residents of Lakaya Circle to have a neighborhood block party on Saturday, September 12th, 2026, from noon to 10 p.m. with a rain date of Sunday, September 13th, 2026, from noon to 10 p.m. I do believe they've done this in the past. This is a regular block party.
Yeah.
So that's that request.
Is there
So
a
moved.
motion? Motion by Mr. De
Second.
Palma, seconded by Ms. Maselli. Any discussion? All in favor? And that's unanimous. And that's it for the
That's for our
board
board
to
to
consider.
consider, Mr.
Okay,
Chair.
on to public comments. Is there anybody that wishes to speak under public comments? Please come to the mic. And please state your name and address.
Hi, my name is Rita Wakefield, 1501 Sandy Lane. I have concerns about the flock cameras being installed in Wilmington. About a month ago, I noticed a camera was installed on Main Street, right in front of Casablanca. I only recognized the camera because it had been in a news article recently. And I was surprised because the company's been in the news for months and I had no idea we had flock in town. I emailed the chief of police and he took the time to reply, which I really appreciated. He informed me that we have 2 flock cameras, that one was installed in March of 2023 and the other one was installed in June of 2024. So we have 2 in town. I then contacted the town manager's office by email, but no one replied. I stopped into the office and asked if I could ask a few questions. The gentleman in there told me someone would get in touch with me, but no one replied. I haven't heard back yet, so I thought I'd ask my questions here. So what I thought I'd do is just give you the 4 questions that I have, and then you tell me who I go to to get my questions answered. So, 1, Wilmington must have signed a contract with Flock in March of 2023. I checked the line items in the town warrant. I didn't see a Flock listed in the police department budget. How are they paying for the contract and how long is the contract for? 2, how was the company chosen? Was there a select board meeting discussing implementation or a discussion of other companies? 3, I was told there were only 2 cameras in town. Is that true and is there a plan to add more? And my last question is, how can I as a citizen ask for a hearing on the pros and cons of continuing our contract with Flock because so many towns are doing away with their contracts? So I don't know who I go to for those questions. No one's answered me in town.
Yes.
So I would just like to share with the board that this inquiry did come in and it came in through the town manager's office. My name is Gio O'Connell, I'm the assistant town manager.
Oh, great.
That came
Okay.
in and we did speak with Mr. Slagle. We deferred the questions to the chief and your response was the detailed response that was directed from the town manager's office for the chief to respond. As that was put in place, frankly, prior to our leadership. So we needed to be educated on how the flock cameras came to be and the police reasons for it. In terms of some of your additional questions, respectfully, I would need to get back to you to research those questions. If I can certainly get a copy of those, I can certainly
give this to you.
and get those answers for you. I do apologize that
I realize you're busy.
I'm not too busy to speak with you, but certainly this is the first I'm hearing of these specific questions and the people with the managers that we can look at these further, speak with the chief and certainly address your questions.
Okay, that would be wonderful.
We did receive the communication, we have the chief be the director, maybe in this communication that we didn't indicate that we all collectively discussed that the chief was going to respond, and I can certainly take this in as a deliverable to work on and make this right in terms of giving some answers.
Thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'll try to be brief. And I know I stayed here tonight. Actually, I'm kind of glad I enjoyed that whole presentation and everything, so I'm glad I stayed. But I stayed for public comments, even though I know that the board approved the soil removal. And I knew the board was going to approve the soil removal. It was a no-brainer, right? But I just want the board to understand something. So where I'm coming from and some facts. And I just want you to think about this. Because there's been a lot of, I believe, disinformation that's been put out there. So one thing that wasn't addressed was that this permit was to remove 4,000 cubic yards of soil. I read to you something that said they have to remove 23,000, over 23,000 cubic yards of soil. You only addressed 4,000 cubic yards and the impact to the people in that neighborhood. You did not address the potential of 23,000 cubic yards, if not more, according to the report that our consultants did. Okay, that's number one. Number two, I just want you to think about something. The town has to remove a lot, and the fact the total was potentially over 260,000 cubic yards of soil that might have to be removed from this project. Okay, just let that sink in a little bit. Why does it have to be removed? The majority of the soil out there is what they call eudorthins. Do you know what eudorthins are? It's fill that you don't know where it came from. That's why it has to be removed. It's not adequate to put a foundation in or a slab. It has to be removed. Why does it have to be removed? Because it's fill. You heard the LSP, and I can't say this until after the meeting, and that's why I'm saying it now, because I already had my time to speak. But I'm trying to educate you in the public on what the real deal is. The LSP told you that the topsoil was fine, it was the stuff underneath. We don't know where that fill came from. Do you know where it came from? Nobody knows. Okay, but there's potential that that fill was contaminated because that's where the arsenic came from. It didn't come from natural. That's not natural soil. If that was natural soil, they wouldn't have to remove it. They have to remove it because it's fill. It's called eudorthins. The majority of the soils that are out there are not natural soils. They've been brought into the town, and it was filled. That field was filled. Sand, gravel, Lord only knows. And that's a fact. That's what the reports that the taxpayers paid for are the reports that cite that. So the town claims, and tell me if this makes sense to you, that those soils are contaminated because of the sprinklers. But yet the topsoil doesn't have arsenic in it. What? Just think about that. So when you add all these things up and you wonder why I don't trust, because it doesn't make sense. And that's the situation that the town is creating, a situation of distrust, because when you add things up, it doesn't make sense. So I want you to think of that, potentially over 200,000 cubic yards. I read to you what they estimated just the arsenic to be at, which is over 23,000 cubic yards, and all you approved tonight was 4,000. So what's going to happen with the rest? Does the project just keep going on and the trucks keep going on? I don't know. I have a problem with that. I find it disturbing. And all because there can't be communication. I can't come up here, I can't talk about that stuff with the board. I don't know if the board is even receptive to it. But these are the facts. And I feel like they were totally glazed over. And we have somebody that we're supposed to trust telling you these things that don't add up. I just want to know how the underlying soil got arsenic in it from the sprinklers, because that was what the town said. That's what the town told DEP, natural occurring arsenic. It came from the sprinklers. They never tested the water to show that the water had arsenic in it. And the testing that was done half-baked. Our own consultants called it half-baked. She sat up there and talked about that there was no pesticides in the soil. Every single test that the town did on pesticides was called NS except for one. Do you know what NS is? Not sampled. Except for one. This is in the reports. And she's saying it was tested for and it didn't show up. No, it wasn't. They had 8 samples that they took from all over 14 acres and combined them. The samples that they took, they combined them. Do you know what that does? You know what the solution to pollution is? Dilution. So you have one sample that could have high levels. You take some more soil from another area that doesn't have high levels. You combine them together, and what happens? You get a lower number. That's how it works. This isn't my first rodeo. All right? So I'm disappointed. I knew it was going to happen, but I still feel like the proper things have not been put in place to protect the children in that area and to protect the residents. I'm sorry. One other thing I'd like to bring up is I don't understand why, with the significant investment that we've made in the landscape and the trees in the parking lot, why during a drought, those trees are under extreme stress. They're maybe a year old, and they don't have any water bags on them. They're going to die. I don't get it. I'd like to know how much money was spent on the landscaping for this building, because you know what? It has issues. I mean, I think when you go outside and you walk around, you should take a look. There's trees in the parking lot that we spent money on that are dying because we're in a drought. I don't understand why they don't have the bags on them. Just saying. Thank you.
Yes.
I just want to very quickly respond to that second point. You are correct. The landscaping at Town Hall has been suffering from the drought. The vast majority of it has not been accepted by the town, and it's the responsibility of the contractor. And so we've informed the contractor. They're the ones who are required to be watering it and maintaining it. They've been told multiple times that they need to be out there and being more aggressive with the watering. And if and until we accept the landscaping, they will be required to come in and replace any trees that die. I just wanted the board to know that.
Can I just add one more thing to that? If that happens and they have to replace the trees, can I make a request that there not be honey locusts? And it's really crazy because the honey locusts out there, they put a lot of times in parking lots, they stink. Okay, it's not a native plant. The maples that are out there, the red maples, they're actually doing better than the honey locusts. So if you had to replace them, could you replace them with something like pin oak or maples or something that actually is native that can maybe withstand the drought a little bit more? I mean, honey locusts are supposed to, but that's for the lack of a better term, it's a crappy tree. Just saying. Thanks.
Beyond my expertise, I'll have to talk to Jamie McGaldy about it. He's the tree guy.
Well, we'll bring it up to Jamie.
Yeah, well, certainly.
Yeah, certainly.
But I just wanted everybody to know about the ownership of the landscape.
Anyone else? Public comments? Okay, on to announcements. Does anyone have any announcements? Yes.
I have one, and I apologize. This should have been included in communications. It's very relevant to what Ms. Sullivan just indicated. But this is an important note for folks who are still watching us at 10, that outdoor water use restrictions are in place because, as has been previously stated, we are currently in a drought situation. There's a memo attached to the select board that came with in your packets regarding requirements that are coming down not from the town but from the state, who has given us requirements that we must implement under the EEE, which is the Executive Office of Environmental Affairs. They have mandated all towns during a level 3 critical drought, which is what we are in, to note that all outdoor non-essential water uses are banned. You're not allowed to use outdoor non-essential water use. There are some exemptions So for instance, public athletic fields, this primarily prohibits water customers from using town water to irrigate lawns, water flower gardens, wash cars, or do any other form of outdoor watering. There is a bylaw that we have in place at the town. That bylaw, for a person violating water use restrictions, should be fined $50 for the first violation and $100 for each subsequent violation. You know, please note that that's a requirement. There's a couple of talking points that Jamie gave me that I wanted to mention. Number one, what have we done so far? So the town has implemented the plan to alert the public about the water ban, including social media posts, an Everbridge notice, and the signboards that note that there's a water ban. We are beginning to log reports of those who are watering and cross-checking them against permitted private wells. Again, this only applies to individuals who are using town water. It doesn't apply to individuals using their private wells. Watering off a permitted private well with a permit through the health department is still okay. The state exempts, so why can we water ball fields and not residents water their yards? So the state exempts irrigation municipal fields due to player safety, and having a grass cushion on a natural field increases concussion resistance. So we're taking advantage of the exemption in order to keep the field safe and protect the town's investments. If we did cease to water them, it would be an extreme expense to the town for us to bring this back up to playable conditions. And some of the fields are irrigated by irrigation wells. So there are fields in town that have their own specific wells for irrigation. So I read on social media that there was a leak on Forest Street that was allowed to run for 3 weeks unrepaired. If there's any questions about that. This was a discharge from a temporary 2-inch line that was partially opened, resulting in the equivalent of about 50% of a standard 3/4-inch hose running. It was a result of a valve with a faulty shutoff that was allowed to run unrepaired longer than typical because we were flushing the water main lining project on Forest Street. In addition, additional flushing was necessary during the recent heat wave and will be necessary during the prolonged hot spells to keep the water bypass pipe from heating up due to sunlight exposure. So folks are aware when you do a water pipe change, there's a surface pipe. If that pipe remains stagnant for too long, the heat can create problems for that water. So this practice ensures adequate free chlorine in the line, reduces the chance of bacteria growing in the bypass line. That being said, the faulty shutoff was repaired on Wednesday, July 8th. The residents may see future flushing in that area as it's necessary to maintain water quality during this water main lining project, and that is also an exempt use under the state's ban. Is the town really going to fine people? Hopefully not. The goal is not to fine individuals. The goal is to have people realize that they shouldn't be watering and then comply. So the first outreach to any individuals who are reported and verified as having violated the water ban will not be a fine, it will be a warning. So the intention of the town is not to use this as a revenue source, but merely as a tool to try and convince people that they need to comply with the water ban. That being said, the enforcement of this is through the police department. So warnings will be issued by the water department, but if people continue to violate the ban after being warned, the police department does have the authority to issue fines. And non-essential outdoor watering is defined by the DEP, but it pretty much is anything with the exception of food crops and municipal athletic fields. Technically, even watering flowers with a watering can is not allowed. So please, if you have any further questions, you can reach out to the water department. You can check the DPW's website. There's a lot of communication on that website regarding the water ban and the requirements. Thank you very much for your time this late night, Mr. Chair.
Maybe Beverly has an idea.
No,
Car
but
washes?
you're probably gonna say
I was
the same
thinking
thing.
car washes.
Yep, that's it, my
So
question.
we may have some car washes coming up in the beginning of September, October so we need to inform them that.
Yeah, Bev and I have talked about that, and because up to now, we hadn't been aggressively enforcing this. We have basically turned a blind eye to car washes, but at this point in time, the state is kind of requiring us to come down a little bit heavier than I think we had, the town has in the past on this sort of
And I think
violation,
we
so.
kind of unfortunately have to. I mean, if we're telling residents they can't, they gotta let their grass burn.
It's not fair to have
It's-
people
yeah,
making money off our water.
Yeah, it's just.
That we're not supposed to be using.
Yeah, it's just kind of stinks,
But
but,
Beverly and I have discussed that.
okay, that was my question.
Talking about outreach.
I know.
There you go.
Some
And that's,
possible.
I just wanted folks to know, if there's any other questions, people could reach out, like I said, to DPW or the Water Department Director, or check the DPW website.
And I want to mention the Lowell Regional Transit Authority that started
Yes.
this week. You want to bring something?
Yeah, so very exciting that we had the new bus line, the 21 bus line, start on last Monday. It is a line that goes from the Wilmington station on Main Street and goes all the way through Burlington to Leahy Clinic and the Burlington Mall. So it's great for if folks need to get to doctor's appointments or have kids who need to go get jobs at the mall or want to go to the mall. That line runs, and I believe it's on like an hour cycle. So I believe it's every hour from the Wilmington station and every half an hour from Burlington Mall, back and forth. It goes right by Lakash's, so you can stop at the bakery.
And I know we talked about maybe posting it on the website.
Yep, and so we're.
Places in the.
And yeah, we're gonna reach out to LRTA and hopefully get some media.
See if they do some, like
Yeah.
you said, go.
On
do
their
some
dime, do
signs
some
for us.
signage for us, yeah. And they did come out to the senior center and do a demonstration of the bus, so that, I think one of the great things is we already have a line that runs by the senior center, there's a stop at the senior center. So it's possible for a senior to go to the senior center, get a ride to the train station, and from there get a ride to their appointments at Leahy. And then it goes right by Denning Way, so folks from Denning Way will be able to get on that line directly if they need to get to Leahy or the mall and don't have other transportation. It's really great, we're really
No,
looking
it's
forward
great,
to hopefully
great
the rest
stuff,
of the
and
season
great
a
thing
lot.
for the town.
And finally, my final announcement is this afternoon at 1 o'clock, I know you couldn't be there, you had another double meeting on that particular time, but Frank West of Select Board was there, and Judy O'Connell, the Assistant Town Manager. 1 o'clock at Silver Lake was the dedication of the floating handicap accessible chair so that those that have a difficulty, that want to go into the lake, they can do that. I want to thank Brett Sawin, the Director of Recreation, Judy, who was there, and also Frank was there, Robert Oliveri, the Chairman of the Disability Commission, Susan Clark, and there was a number of individuals from the Disability Commission there. Also, Lottie from the Smile Mass, which is who provided the grant money. It was she said it was $3,000 for this particular device, so that handicapped individuals can use it at Silver Lake. It was outstanding. It was a great get together and dedication to the town of Wilmington. So I don't know if Judy or Frank want to say anything on that.
No, I would just agree that I think we're making strides at making Wilmington more handicapped accessible in different fashions, and this is just another avenue that, we've made strides in doing that. So appreciate to the Commission on Disabilities for coming up with that and working with the Smile Group and getting the grant for the chair, and it's a very interesting presentation. Thank you.
Yes.
No, I just wanted to echo kind of what you and Mr. West have said. I appreciate Judy for coming in my stead. I really wanted to be there, but one of the things we do take really seriously and we have started to work on is accessibility for folks around town. This is just one of the avenues. We're working on a lot of different other initiatives. We're going to have a fully inclusive playground at Rotary Park, hopefully the next time that gets done, which is in a couple of years. We're doing our ADA evaluation for all town buildings, which is happening right now. And so there's a lot of initiatives that the town is taking. We're working on our accessibility of our website. We're trying to be on the forefront of everything we can to try to make the town and everything in town more accessible to folks. So it's really exciting.
Good stuff.
All right, we'll move on to new business. Anybody? Okay. And we're on to important dates.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through October 4th, we have the farmer's market at the Town Common on Sundays from 10 to 1. On July 15th, there's a concert on the Common at 6:30, the Reminiscence. There's a concert on the Common on July 22nd, 6:30, Ball in the House. And then July 29th, there's a concert on the Common at 6:30, The Better Things. Then also on July 29th is Police Beach Day at Silver Lake. It is mislabeled as August 5th on the agenda, but that's actually July 29th as well. July 8th, there's brush drop off at Old Main Street from 9 to 2. July 11th, there's brush drop off at Old Main Street from 9 to 4. August 4th, as was earlier approved by the Select Board, is National Night Out at Rotary Park. August 7th is Purple Heart Day. August 12th is the brush drop off at Old Main Street from 8 to 2. August 13th is the Library Summer Bash at Town Common. August 15th is brush drop off at Old Main Street from 9 to 4. August 17th is our next Select Board meeting here in the hearing room at Town Hall at 7 o'clock. September 1st, we have a state primary. Polls open at 7 a.m. and close at 8 p.m. September 7th is Labor Day. Town office is closed. September 9th, we have brush drop off at Old Main Street from 8 to 2. September 12th, we have brush drop off at Old Main Street from 9 to 4. And September 14th, we have a Select Board hearing here at Town Hall in the hearing room at 7 o'clock p.m. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Manager. Salute to service goes out to Specialist Louis Ragucci. The U.S. Army was born in Boston, Mass. in 1947. Lived in Charlestown, Mass. when he joined the United States Army in November of '66. Was serving with Company C of the 4th Engineer Battalion, 4th Infantry Division in Vietnam. Served as a power plant operator. Assignments for the 4th included providing base security, building and maintaining the base airfield, and providing facilities for the 4th Infantry Division headquarters. Engineers of the 4th were also committed in infantry on several occasions, defending against enemy attack. In all, the 4th took part in 11 campaigns during the Vietnam War. Company A, 4th Engineer Battalion, earned 2 Presidential Unit citations, while Company C earned a Valorous Unit Award. The entire battalion earned Meritorious Unit commendations, along with several citations from the Republic of Vietnam. Separated from service at St. Louis, Washington, that's the state of Washington, in September of '68. Lewis was awarded the National Defense Service Medal, a Good Conduct Medal, Vietnam Service Medal, Vietnam Campaign Medal, Marksmanship for M16, and Sharpshooter for M14. We recognize Louis Ragucci and we thank him for his service. And with that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
By Mr. De Palma, by Mr. West, second. Any discussion? All in favor? All right. I think we have some things to sign, right?
There are a couple things.